The spookiest song of all. Happy Halloween, everybody. Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. Black Sabbath with Black Sabbath is how you open Halloween every single time. Doesn't get any creepier than that. Welcome in, Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Great to be here with you on this last day of October, which of course means, again, it's Halloween. So happy Halloween, everybody. Great to be here with you guys. I'm Woodsy. Now, we're not on camera yet. We got a few minutes. So if you're watching on the YouTube feed, you can't quite yet see what we're wearing.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, can you? Because I've got the other thing up on mine. Oh, there you go. I don't know why mine's so...
You're on a delay.
I'm lagging, like a 40-second delay. But we are on screen now, so I am, as you can see, dressed as Tiger Woods. Got a tiger costume on, and I've got the little kitten whiskers painted and the whole thing, and it feels good. Feels good. Walked right into the room this morning, or right into the building, ran right into our engineer. He's a very serious guy, Mike. He just looked at me, and I go, I have a costume. Yeah, he goes, I know. And I said, well, I didn't choose it. My wife chose this for me. And he goes, it's great. And I said, I actually have a better chance of having intercourse wearing this than wearing my normal clothes. So I just kind of let her do what she wants to do. But I am Woodsy. I am dressed as a cat. What do my pants look like? My pants are just gold.
I'm not a cat.
Gold Viore pants. They're very comfortable, but they're, they match-ish. To my right, the great Paul Reindl, our executive producer, and dressed as Cocaine Bear.
Paulie
which
wins,
is
I
just
think,
incredible.
the costume contest this morning. Very good, Paulie.
It's not even close. It is not even close. I and the engineers, though, we both have to be worried about that flour. That cocaine that you have
just
all over you.
Lines of
just
flour.
All in the board and stuff. So you could be getting your ass chewed later. I do think it's worth it because
worth it.
You look good, and people haven't really caught on to what our beloved Ben is dressed as this morning. I don't know why it popped into my head a couple of days ago. But
I'm just here to interview Aaron Rodgers on a Tuesday.
So I called
It's Tuesday, Aaron Rodgers Day. Stroke him a check, get him on the show.
I called Paulie and I go, what do you think about, because when it's Benny, he lets us do what we want. So I could have brought in like a French maid costume. I could have really slutted you up if I wanted to, and I didn't. I thought, how about Ben being the host of the show, the driver of the show? Ben is Pat McAfee. And I go, yes, that's what I want. I want Ben to be Pat McAfee. And he yesterday said, so I don't know, what am I going to be? What am I going to be? And I said, look, out of all of the things we've put you through, these last 5 years, this is going to be the easiest one for you.
Oh, yeah.
And he's feeling it a little bit because he gets to show off his new arms.
Well, I'm Pat McAfee with the biggest golf tan in history here.
Which makes it better.
After my golf trip. So.
Somebody says Par McAfee.
I think
McAfee. That's pretty
like
good.
Par
McAfee.
Pat McAfee with a golf tan.
Yeah, it looks phenomenal. I don't know. I think even if I had the world's best, biggest, most finely toned arms, I don't know that I could wear a tank top around. And he wears one every single show.
Every morning.
Every morning.
I've never worn a tank top in my life until this moment.
And
this
even that is still not really a tank top because he wears the scoop neck.
Yeah, this is more just a sleeveless
shirt. Shirt. But let me tell you guys. So I told this to Paulie just a couple days ago. I said, Ben is Pat McAfee. Paulie goes, yes. He goes, I will go after the show and I will go to Walmart and I will grab a black tank top. And I said, great. Let me know if you have any trouble. So Paulie goes to Walmart. I don't hear from him. I'm assuming the tank top is done. I'm at Costco later in the day, and it pops into my head as I'm walking around the Costco clothes. I go, let me see if Paulie found one. So I call Paulie. He goes, dude. I go, oh, no, you didn't find one. He goes, it's not from lack of looking. He goes, I went to Walmart. Didn't have anything. Went to Target. They didn't have anything. I go, hang on. I'm at Costco. They've got everything. Let me walk around and find one. Walked around and around and around. Nothing. And so I started thinking, where does this dude get his tank tops from?
Everyone's going as Pat McAfee for
Halloween.
Apparently.
Yeah. Must be sold out. He must.
They have the tight undershirt.
Yeah, I hate the old term was wife beater, which is we got to move beyond.
I think they
wife
call them
beater.
A shirts.
A shirts
on the packs.
Yeah, you can't call them wife beaters anymore. You just can't. when you say wife beater, I know exactly what you mean, but that's something we got to get rid of.
Move past that.
Move past it in contemporary nomenclature, okay? The tight tank top, I know exactly what you mean. But that we didn't want him in one of those because McAfee's are very loose. They're loose. They kind of hang. I don't know what this guy must get them in bulk from somewhere.
Maybe he's only got one.
One, he just rips it every day.
Yeah,
just recycles it.
So we thought maybe we could find one at like a surf shop, but then that's going to have
Logos,
a logo and everything all over it. So anyway, man, we found that. Paulie cut the sleeves. It looks good. I said, should we scoop the neck? Paulie goes, I'm afraid to cut it.
I don't want it to look ratty.
You don't want it to look ratty. So I think it looks good there. So Ben is Pat McAfee. I am Tiger Woods. This is weird seeing myself. Oh, we pulled it down. It's pretty good because you have a hairy chest.
Yeah.
Look at that on the thing. Oh, yeah. That's really, really good. That is really, really good. So it's Jeter says he gets them tailor made. That wouldn't surprise me.
Well, he can afford it.
Yeah,
that's
he
for
can.
sure.
He's got a lot of dough. So I've never actually listened to the Pat McAfee show. I will say, I love College Game Day. It's one of my favorite programs on TV. I think he's been a breath of fresh air. I really do because it's been the same dudes forever, and
it's been the same show forever. And I think he brings a lot of energy to it. I really enjoy his stuff. I've never heard his show, though. It's always on in the gym. So when I do my warm-up, my just little jog, 10-minute walk, I look up. There's the Pat McAfee show. He's in a black tank top and a gold chain. Pull your gold chain out so everyone can see it. And he's talking, and he's very animated. And then there's A.J. Hawk sitting next to him, hair slicked back, doesn't say a word for 15 minutes every time. And I'm like, how does one get that gig? You just sit. He smokes cigars.
I've checked in on the show every once in a while. Never seen AJ Hawk
I've never
talk.
seen him say a word. So that's a good bit. That's a really good bit if you can get it. But it's great to be with you guys. We are feeling a little festive in here this morning, as it is Halloween. I'm excited. I can't wait to see what my kids look like. My wife's doing the whole costume this morning. Taylor's going as Ziggy Stardust, David Bowie. Really excited to see that one. Bo's going as Joe Burrow. So he's got the full...
So you're both Bengals.
Yeah, we are both Bengals. Yeah, that's exactly right. I've got a tail, too. Did you guys see my tail?
Oh, nice. I didn't see the tail.
See it?
Yeah, shake that tail. Shake that tail, Woods. Shake that tail, Tiger Woods.
Yep. So that's what we're doing. And then we've got, no BS, we've got a Halloween party at Bo's school at 1:40.
Okay.
Then we have a Halloween party at Taylor's school at 4. Then we have a family party in our neighborhood. Our sister-in-law and brother-in-law live in our neighborhood. They have a huge blowout every year. And then we go trick-or-treating. I'm staring down the barrel of like a good, solid, more like 14 hours of activities today. But I'm ready. I know the kids are so excited.
I mean, this is what you live for.
This
This
is what you live for, man. Halloween is just the best.
Do you give out the full-size candy bars?
So that's the other dilemma, and I have not talked to my wife about this yet. We are all going to a party in our neighborhood. Our neighborhood is like Disneyland.
Right.
It's so great for Halloween. They really do it right.
Cul-de-sacs, no busy streets.
Cul-de-sac, we're
fairly safe.
So
yeah.
we're in a cul-de-sac. I don't know what to do. I could, if I wanted to be the a-hole that I am. World Series is on, right?
Oh my God.
I could technically say, I'll stay home and hand out candy. You guys go trick-or-treating. But after walking around our neighborhood last year, I kind of want to be there. A lot of attractive mothers out in the neighborhood. So I kind of want to walk around and stand. I just want to be there to protect
the
my kids.
sexy costume phenomenon is in effect.
I've been to like nightclubs and stuff. Not even close. It's not even close. Our neighborhood is next level on Halloween. So I'm happy. But somebody who's going to stay home and hand out candy?
You can always
Would
just
do
take
the
a
bowl,
bucket,
leave the
take
bowl.
one.
So I think Hannah says, "Is that so?" Yes, it's so. I told you that last year. This place, our neighborhood is elite. So I don't know what to do if we're going to leave the table of candy. If we are going to just blacken out all the windows and keep it dark, which is creepy and kind of, it's kind of, you live in this neighborhood, you got to give candy out.
Right.
But I don't have a proxy to hand out candy. So I don't know what we're going to do. Maybe just put out the bowl and however long it lasts. Maybe just put out all the bags and just say, you know what?
help yourself.
First come, first serve.
Yeah.
Take them all.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
If
So
you need a little pick me up for this long day.
Paulie's got me.
Yeah.
Paulie's got me. Yeah, if I needed to bake some biscuits, I'm in good shape with the flour bear over there. Man, it is always a fun day. I used to hate it when I didn't have kids, and now I love it because my kids, I live it through
You
them.
hated Halloween.
Yeah, like in college and stuff, everyone's like, "Oh, it's Halloween." I'm like getting a costume and trying to be, trying to be festive. I was not a real festive guy. And then you have kids.
Costume parties and Halloween at San Diego State were very different.
I bet they were cool. I always worked. I always bartended. And I'll never forget, I dressed as Elvis one year. I rented it, the whole thing, and it was really, really good. But you have never experienced the chafing that I experienced that night that was raw. My taint and my inner legs were raw because of the costume. It stuck with me forever. Like, if I had met a girl that night, I would have said, "No, I cannot go home with you
Costumes
because I'm
are
so chafed."
So uncomfortable.
They're so
Usually,
uncomfortable.
this is the first comfy costume I've ever had on.
That's really clutch.
This is actually better than what I normally wear. So I like
this is like
great.
a Snuggie. I feel fantastic.
You're gonna be a little warm though because
Yeah.
it does heat up in here after a while. But everyone looks great.
Brought an extra fan.
We like to be festive. Will we be the only show on 97.3 that dresses up today?
Coach was going to dress up like Ken.
Oh, God, that would actually be a really good costume for him because he's tall. He's still got good
Good
lettuce.
hair.
He's got good lettuce,
Good hair.
man.
Yeah.
Get him
I
he's
hope-
going to go shirtless with a leather jacket.
I
leather
don't
vest.
know how old Coach is, but I hope my lettuce is as good as his when I'm that age. He's got a really nice head of hair. What's Ello and Scraby? I think Tony's on vacation. What are they going to dress up as? They're not dressing up, are they? We're going to be the only ones.
My guess would be we'll be the only ones.
Okay. Well, I mean,
I'm surprised down the hall, no one this morning I see dressed up in our building yet.
Chris is going to dress up like a radio guy.
yeah. Well done.
Michael Jordan. He's a big Michael Jordan fan. Probably a Bulls jersey.
That's such a give up.
It is.
It really is.
I used to do that as a kid. Jerseys. Yeah.
Who were you? Michael Cooper, AC Green,
I think I went as generic Padre.
generic
Couple
Padre
of times,
many
yeah.
times. Yes.
Yeah.
That's going as a baseball player. Like that's
Yeah.
not as long as you go full uniform.
Yeah, full uniform
you
though.
can
Yeah.
get away with it.
The costume is a bit stressful. It gets stressful when you're like in college, and then it gets a little stressful when you have kids. But your kids dictate what they want. What they want to do. I was dressed as Kiss when I was a little kid. I loved Kiss, but you could go into the dime store and buy a Kiss costume that was like that, like real thin material, and it tied in the back, so it would have like Paul Stanley, and then you just put the plastic mask on, and you were Kiss. And I did that probably 3 or 4 Halloweens in a row, which was great. Then you get, you want to be more creative. I remember my parents dressed. I mean, my dad like putting makeup on me and stuff when I was a kid. I liked Halloween, and then I got away from it, and then I had kids again, and now I just love it. I'm so happy for them. They're gonna it's Christmas morning for them. This, basically like getting up, getting to go
This is just
trick or
as big of a
treating.
deal.
It's a
Christmas
huge
morning is
deal.
also Christmas morning for kids. But
That's true. Yeah, that's true. This is like another Christmas morning for them.
They're very
But,
excited for sure.
If you have costumes, you can tweet us at Ben and
Oh
Woods
yeah,
and
I
tweet
love
those
seeing
in.
them. I saw some yesterday on Twitter. Was full of people's very clever, creative costume ideas out there.
A lot of Taylor Swift and Travis
Travis
Kelce
Kelce,
this year.
yeah.
A lot of the. It always makes me laugh that somebody sat in their room and they went, "I got it.
Got it.
No one's going to do this. Nobody's.
I
gonna
was
do
trying
this."
to think of like what are going to be the 20 like Barbie and Ken.
Yeah, Barbie and Ken.
Huge.
It's a great combo though because the female half can like dress up glamorously like Taylor. The guy just has to put on a Chiefs jersey, so you can convince him to do that pretty
Simple.
easily.
It's an expensive Halloween jersey.
Yeah, that's
Halloween
true.
costume.
Like there's probably been an upsurge in there was already an uptick in Travis Kelce jersey sales when he started going out.
Yeah.
I imagine just for Halloween there's been another uptick in Travis Kelce jersey sales.
Well, let's
Thinking a
make
good one
it.
would be dress like the girl on the plane. That mother is
Yeah.
not real.
I mean, you need certain assets to dress up.
Yeah.
Like her. She's very attractive.
She was
I could
very
fix
fit.
her. I could fix her, I think, if just given the time. Mike, let's keep it spooky today on Ben and Woods, or as my little angels would say at home, smooky.
Smooky.
Neither of them can say or don't say spooky. They say Smokey, and I will not change it. Bo's going to be 14, like, ooh, it's Smokey in here. I think it's the cutest thing. Taylor, I picked him up.
Spooky and smoky.
I picked him up from school, and I had a little spider to scare him with, and he goes, ooh, Dad had a Smokey. It's the funniest thing I've ever heard. I'm like, I'm never changing it. So let's keep it Smokey in here on a Tuesday.
Got the road tripping theme for the Daily Ditty. I
Probably
think
should have
it
gone
is-
scary this week.
Well,
I,
I mean, but by Wednesday,
It's
Thursday,
over.
Friday, it's over. It
Yeah, but
doesn't
your
make
road
any
trip
sense.
is over.
That's true too. But we'll go on another one soon, I'm sure.
Oh, yes, we will.
World Series Game 3 last night.
Yeah.
Lots to talk about in a low-scoring game. The Texas Rangers taking a 2-1 series lead. Had some breaking NBA news over the night. James Harden is a member of the Los Angeles Clippers this morning. Won't probably over-discuss that, but wanted to make sure everyone knew that since they went to bed, there was a big NBA trade. Today's NFL trading deadline day today as well. I'm not sure there's going to be a ton of moves, although I've heard some talk that the Raiders should make a move after last night's Monday Night Football loss and start unloading a couple of players. So we'll get into all of that. It's Halloween. Let's have a good time. We are off and running here. It's Tuesday morning with Ben and Woods. We'll be right back after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
love. Give it to me right here. Because in the midnight hour. Little kid, I thought it was the midnight owl.
Really?
The midnight owl is crying more, more, more. Not midnight hour. That's the great Billy Idol. I don't know that I've ever gone on a road trip without listening to Billy Idol's greatest hits. It's pretty good all the way through. He's got some bangers on there. We'll say this. Saw Billy Idol a couple of weeks ago. A picture of him somewhere.
Well, he's been on those insurance commercials or something. I've seen him.
Is he
something.
on the Rockstar commercial? Like, you don't stay...
He's on a golf cart, like on a golf course commercial. Isn't that Billy Idol?
I don't know.
Potentially. But I saw a picture of him recently. He was leaning down with somebody, like, doing a picture. And it made me sad because he's still dressed like he was in 1983. So I was wondering, like, the question... If that is your shtick in the 80s and that's how you got famous, you got to like...
That's who you are?
You got to go to the closet. You got to get the leather jacket. You got to put the hair up. The hair's a little wider now.
Like maybe not to go to the grocery store, but you go anywhere for an appearance.
Nobody wants to see like normal 65-year-old Billy Idol in like khakis and like a Izod polo. And he's up singing his songs. When you go see Billy Idol, you want to see, hey man, I paid for Billy Idol. You don't sound the same, you don't look the same, but I want to see the leather jacket. I want to see
Absolutely.
the fist. It's
like if I went to see Flock of Seagulls and they didn't
want
have the hair.
If the hair looked like mine, you'd be disappointed. Yeah, I felt I hoped for him that he wasn't like, oh man, goes to the closet, gets out the gel, puts the hair up, gets the jacket on. He's like, oh, my God. I got to go out and sing Moni Moni again tonight for the billionth time. Eyes without a face. I mean, he's great. He's great. 100 hits in the 80s. He was like the coolest guy I'd ever seen to that point. You know, when he was all over MTV when Ben and I were really little. He was every other video. It was a Billy Idol video. He was huge. But it made me sad to see old Billy Idol. And, you got to stick to the bit, I guess. Right?
Yeah. It's a good road trip, though.
Great
it comes
road
on,
trip.
you turn it up, it gets you another 4 or 5 miles down the road.
That's exactly right,
That's what
man.
road trip songs are. It's a song that will distract you for another 4 miles as you drive down the road to whatever your eventual destination is.
I mean, Paulie and I do the road trip to spring training and we usually ride together to spring training and fantasy camp. And yeah, if Eyes Without a Face comes on, cranked it up. You know, Moni Moni even, crank it up. Dancing with Myself, all that, man. That gets turned up, and both of us singing, nodding our heads, and then next thing you know, you look up, you've ripped through 8 songs on the greatest hits, and you're feeling good. You're halfway to Yuma at that point, man.
I see in the chat people are asking what kind of candy you're going to be giving out for Halloween.
Yeah.
You guys have your favorites?
I mean, I've got my favorites. That for me, it's more defined about what I don't want. I do not want Nestle's Crunch. Absolutely repugnant. Anything with crisped rice in it, I don't want. So $100,000. Crackle out. Disgusting.
I mean, the little tiny miniatures they're tired. They're tired.
Special Dark. God. Might as well just give me a beet. If you're going to give me a Special Dark, just give me a carrot.
It's better than the Mr. Goodbar.
Mr. Goodbar's hideous.
Yeah.
That whole package is such a give up.
Yeah, it is.
You're such a give up. If you have, it's in there, it's
Hershey's miniature. So it's the regular Hershey.
just one chocolate slab.
Yep. The Special Dark, the Mr. Goodbar, and the Crackle.
It's the bag.
That's the foursome.
It's like the rapist's bag. Like, it's disgusting. If you bought that bag, take it back. Put it under the bed. Save it for a rainy day. It is repugnant.
I'd rather have even the littlest, the tiniest of the Reese's.
The tiny
little tiny cup. I mean,
yes,
that's the worst of the Reese's. Of all the Reese's, that's the worst one. It's still better than the little tiny bars.
Dave just got me in the chat, dude. Whoppers, absolutely repugnant.
Oh yeah.
Oh, just
malted.
I know people love that.
in a pinch of like, if I don't get something sweet, I'm gonna have to eat a spoonful of sugar. And there's Whoppers there. I'll eat them. I have to wash them down with water. They're disgusting. I love you guys don't like coconut, right? I love Mounds and Almond Joy.
Yeah, no, can't stand it.
I'll be pilfering those from the kids. Whoppers may be the worst. That could potentially be the worst.
How do you feel about Raisinets?
Disgusting.
Yeah.
I love raisins.
And I don't like
chocolate-covered raisins.
Wesley in the chat says he loves Whoppers. Wesley, you have to go. I'm sorry. We're going to have to boot you for 24 hours and come back tomorrow.
I was a big fan of. I didn't like a ton of chocolate. I was okay with Reese's, obviously. I like the Kit Kat, like just the 2 wafers, the small package. But
Delicious.
every once in a while, you'd get somebody that would hand out like. There were still the mini bags, but you'd get Skittles or Mike and Ike's.
Sure.
Like I love the fruity, chewy, gummy. If hand out gummy bears or something.
Gummy bears would be a miracle.
We
on
have
Halloween.
some real deviants in our chat. Deviants.
Starburst, Elite.
Starburst are good, but they're hard to eat. I mean,
It's
they're
hard. You gotta
so
unpackage 'em.
hard and chewy. And you might spend a minute or two on each little wrapper
Yeah.
because they're so tight and sticky. And
Save that. Yeah, many are against Whoppers. Many like Whoppers. I don't like lemon heads. I don't like blow pops. I don't like anything that is going to wreck my teeth. Give me a Twix bar. Give me a Snickers. Give me Reese's Pieces the best. Love Reese's Pieces. Charleston Chews are disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
I like those little Smarties rolls. A little powdery, just
Straight sugar.
Yeah,
now.
I know, but I like them.
Yeah, I can get with them. Butterfingers are legit. You like Butterfingers?
I do like Butterfinger.
I prefer the smaller squares instead of the bigger.
Big Bar.
Yeah,
Big Bar
too
gets
much.
stuck in your teeth a lot. But
Now, our beloved Bobby Cressy, who is also known as the Padres organist, he's our dear friend. He comes in and plays piano for us every year at the Christmas and holiday extravaganza, which, by the way, is in the planning phases right now. Be very afraid, Ben. He is doing full bars at his home. I'll give you the address. He's doing full bars at his home of Score and Heath.
And he's got Reese's, cups.
Like the
Yeah.
Reese's cups.
I love Score and Heath. They're both good.
They're tough to eat for me now. Like the toffee, the gristly, like
Toffee's
toffee.
a great flavor, though.
But it is a great flavor. Really, really great flavor. There's a house in our neighborhood that does. They have a big cotton candy machine, which is pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool.
And really, what you want to give your kids at about 7:00 at night.
Straight sugar.
Straight up, just inhaling sugar. I could do candy talk all day. I'm sure we'll bring it back.
How do you guys handle it as parents when the kids come home with a giant bag of candy? Do you keep the bag?
Yeah,
and
we
you
keep the
just give 'em
bag.
a couple.
Hannah and I graze off of it, and then we give, put a piece in your lunch the next day. And my kids are actually surprisingly really good with it. They don't get freaked out. They each have their own stash, and it's fun to count them at the end of the night. But they're like Bo will say, "That's good. I've had too much sugar," and I'm like, "Oh my god, look at you."
It's been a number of years since my kids have actually gone trick or treating, but we were always pretty permissive when it came to the candy. We'd have candy dishes around the house, and
Oh,
it
really?
became so common.
They didn't treat it as a big
they
deal.
didn't treat it as a big deal.
That's what I've done with
Yeah.
swearing in my house.
Yeah, you
It's
have.
exactly what I've done. I do not treat it like a big deal, and they don't really abuse it. So it's kind of worked. Same idea.
All right, we got to get into the World Series last night. Did the Arizona Diamondbacks? Well, they did. They got the short end of the stick from the home plate umpire. I haven't seen the umpire scorecard yet, but there was a couple of calls.
There was a couple of calls, but the one that everyone's talking about, I don't think everybody watched the entire AB. And if you watched the entire AB, it all evened out. But it was a big call. I'll give you that.
We'll get to a pivotal Game 3. The Rangers unstoppable on the road. Game 4 is tonight, so no rest for the weary, and the Rangers possibly dealing with some big injuries. We'll try to update that as the show goes along as well with Adolis Garcia, Max Scherzer. It's all coming up with Ben and Woods. Don't go away. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
wrong show.
My pick of Rangers in 5 is still alive.
Yep, my pick of Diamondbacks in 5 is dead.
But it would require the Texas Rangers to go 11-0 on the road in the playoffs to get that done. They are 9-0 now on the road this postseason.
It's unreal.
They've won every single game away from Arlington, Texas, which is absolutely nuts. I mean, it's one thing. It's baseball. It's not football. You can win road games. But in a playoff environment, going into the hostile territory with the fans, sellout crowds all into it.
No problem.
You don't expect to win every single game on the road in the postseason.
It's that Bochy magic, Benjamin.
Somehow it paid off again. It looked like the Diamondbacks, well, we'll get into it here after a check of traffic. Looked like the Diamondbacks were going to take an early lead. They didn't, and the Texas Rangers managed to hold down the magical Diamondbacks for a night. Kept them to just the one run. We'll get into all of that. Game 3 of the World Series right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Well, starting to heat up a little bit on our roads, guys. Collision on northbound 5 before Mile of Cars Way. Those 2 cars are over to the right shoulder. Also, a stalled vehicle in the slow lane southbound 15 right before Adams Avenue. Southbound side of the 805 right at the East 54 connector. Another stalled vehicle that's over the right shoulder. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Tiger Woods, Cocaine Bear, Matt McAfee here with you on Halloween morning.
I like that it's Matt McAfee.
Talking about Game 3 of the World Series last night. So the Christian Walker second inning running through the stop sign at third base. He's on second. Tommy Pham singles.
White hot Tommy Pham, dude. Oh,
gets
my
another
God.
hit and
Locked in.
Locked in.
And he gets so this was a pretty critical play in the game last night. Christian Walker is, I don't know, about 4 or 5 strides from third base. Looks up, gets his third base coach, sees the windmill. You are going, even though didn't get a great jump
got a
off
bad
of
jump,
second.
in fact.
Yeah, got a bad jump off of second base, but he sees the windmill like go, 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 sticks his head down and makes that turn like, okay, I better go hard. Doesn't look up again as the third base coach makes the old switcheroo to stop, stop, stop. Don't test Adolis Garcia's arm, which is one of the best in baseball.
I just saw it again, and you're right. I mean, the head was down, and he was chugging. But okay. Third base coach be damned. Christian Walker is a veteran. He knows the arm that's in right field, one of the best in the game, in Adolis Garcia. He also really is the only one that knows. He got a crap jump. He went back to the bag, had to restart his momentum. There's nobody out. And now you'll have first and third, and second and third, actually, because Tommy Pham advanced. You'll have second and third, nobody out. It's a play where I feel like it's kind of in front. It's just off to your left. You can see, who's the gun out there. I think you have to take that upon yourself.
And John Smoltz, he said that's on the runner. You got to look again. That's all. You've got to find your third base coach. I think the third base coach, his name is Tony Perez Chica. I don't know why he was so strongly telling him to go. At the very least,
excitement, dude.
At the
World
very
Series.
least, when it's Garcia, I think the first instinct is probably hold. So if you're waiting and you're not giving any signal, give him a chance to find you and get to the last second before you make that call. But give that full windmill. He was enthusiastically windmilling. I don't really blame Christian Walker for going, I didn't get a great jump, so I better go hard. And then he went hard. He
did. Head
down,
yep.
Hit the bag, and then Perez Chica puts up the stop sign. Well, it's too late. He's already, trucking down the home plate third base line to get home, and he gets thrown out by a mile. Great throw by Garcia. He's got a fantastic arm, and instead of 1-0, instead of 0-0 runners at first and third with 1 out, I think, chance to bring in nobody out. A couple of chances to bring in that run with an out. You've run yourself out of a potentially bigger inning there. You don't score. Then the Rangers come and get their 3 runs off Brandon Pfaadt in the top of the third, all with 2 outs. Marcus Semien with the RBI single, and then ambush.
I don't know that anybody needed it more than Marcus Semien. Holy smokes, man. That guy was due. Huge, huge knock. He's got to be feeling better. But yeah, then the great Corey Seager strides to the plate, does it again. It's unbelievable.
Ambushes the first pitch. He was clearly thinking, I'm going to see, he might throw me a changeup here. He knows I like fastballs. I always attack first pitch fastballs. You could tell Corey Seager was like, let's wait for the changeup, and if I get it, I'm going after it.
Just wait one more tick.
And he did, and he absolutely annihilated the ball.
Murdered it.
115 miles an hour or something. Hardest home run like in World Series StatCast era. So that was pretty much the game right there. Even though Max Scherzer had to leave with back spasms and they had to go to John Gray, he's
the hero.
Their
last
presumptive
night.
Game 4 starter. He comes in with the cold warm up. You just got to go get ready. Goes 3 shutout innings and keeps the Diamondbacks off the board. They did get that run late in the 8th inning, but were unable to complete the rally. Aroldis Chapman, you could say he got out of the jam. I mean, he induced a absolute missile that Corey Seager turned into a double play.
I couldn't believe they turned 2 on that.
I
still.
think they said that was the hardest double play ball of the season, maybe the postseason.
Yeah.
But they said,
I it was the 4th hardest double play of the season and the hardest of the postseason.
It was murdered. Hit right on the screws. Corey Seager, again, with one of the best plays you'll see. Turns it, Simeon, great throw over to first. They get, who hit it? Was it Marte that hit that?
Yeah.
Who did?
Yeah, Marte.
Yeah, Marte hit that seed.
Yeah.
John Gray, though, I mean, you want to talk about, and Corey Seager even said it in the post game. He was the hero tonight. He threw 25 strikes on 30 pitches, retired 9 of the 10 batters he faced to calm down. When you lose a starter of Max looked good. Max looked like he was finally locked in. That can be a huge blow for a team. So the ability to come in and do that now. But you managed for last night, and you got the dub. So now you got to figure out today. Andrew Haney's going to be on the bump. John Gray is not going to be available, I would imagine, at all. So now you got to figure it out today. Diamondbacks are probably feeling a little bit better now that Adolis Garcia went out late in the game with a tweaked oblique. He left in street clothes.
Yeah, he left before the media sessions in street clothes to get a further evaluation.
That's tough, man.
On the side, the tight side, oblique strain, whatever it's going to be diagnosed as.
That lineup looks a little different without him.
Hard to necessarily imagine him being available. I mean, if this was the regular season, even if he's not going on the injured list, probably getting 2 or 3 days off. Now you don't really have that luxury here. You've got Game 4 tonight, Game 5 tomorrow night, and then possibly 2 more games this weekend in Texas. But you got to get him back in the lineup as soon as possible. Can you force it tonight? Can you do some magic in the training room to try to get him out there?
Yeah, it's called Toradol.
I'm sure the Rangers will try. This will be more like exactly. This will be more like an NFL game.
Yep.
And the long-term consequences,
out the window.
Doesn't matter. We need to get you ready for 4 more, hopefully, and then you got the rest of the offseason to rest and relax and hopefully get back for spring training. But they'll do everything they can to get that bat back in the lineup tonight.
Yeah, I mean, and don't be surprised if he does get up there and swing it. The threat of Adolis Garcia is still a threat, and if they can get it to where he can swing, doesn't need to play the field. You can put Jankowski out there. That means Jankowski has to bat, but if you can get Garcia in the lineup as a DH, you're going to have to do it. That lineup is completely different without him in it. So they got a lot on their plate, but it makes tonight certainly even more interesting. Who's going for the D-backs tonight?
Mantiply. It's
Oh,
another
God,
bullpen.
The opener bit. Oh.
Another bullpen day for the D-backs. So it's not like they have a huge advantage.
That's true.
On the pitching matchup here in Game 4.
Jeez, man.
But the Rangers bullpen has definitely been taxed more in this series with the extra innings and now with Max Scherzer's short outing yesterday. And he said it was more of a spasm. He may be able to come back later in the series. It's not like an injury. It was just, he's getting old.
He's getting old. Yeah, dude.
He's getting old like the rest of us. You start getting back problems, and it just popped up at a really bad time. For him to come out of that game and know, hey, I can try to keep throwing, but I don't think it'll go well, that's a tough thing to do for a competitive athlete. And you like Max Scherzer or don't, I'm not a huge fan, but he is a competitor, and that had to be one of the toughest things he ever did is say, I don't think I can keep going because, shutout ball in the World Series, last thing you want to do is come out of that game.
No, you're pitching well. Did you guys see that the game number 1 was the lowest rated World Series game of all time? Did you see that?
I did, yeah. It's the lowest viewed, yeah. Fewest viewers ever for a World Series. Game 1. Was it all any World Series game or just Game 1?
Oh, maybe it was just Game 1.
Yeah, it was still over 9 million people watched the game.
Yeah.
But
sure.
it was the pandemic World Series Game 1 had been the lowest. and now this one is even lower.
It goes to show you, I know nothing. I would have thought the pandemic World Series Game 1 would have been the most watched.
We had nothing else.
There was nothing else
watch,
to do.
Yeah,
just goes to show you how fraudulent that whole season was.
I have not seen the umpire scorecard from the game yesterday. Alfonso Marquez had some critically missed calls. Now everyone's talking about the ninth inning, leadoff batter in the ninth inning, 3-1 pitch that was clearly outside. Moreno, yeah.
But
You're right.
He got robbed of strike one. He threw a perfect, like a deuce or a slider that was just right down the middle, hit the zone, called a ball to make it 2-0. And Leclerc battled back. And then, man, I'll give it to you. The 3-2 pitch was 2 balls off the plate. It was terrible. You can't, if you're going to do a makeup call, I don't know that you can do it there, honestly. And so, again,
ball 4 versus a ground out to short or whatever.
Ground out to third. Yeah, it's just they kept showing. A lot of people kept sending out the highlight of Jason Dominguez when he was in the minor leagues, up at the plate in a big situation. Yankee center fielder when he was in the minors. Ball down in the zone, called a strike. He taps his helmet. Reviewed, overturned. This is, I think, where we're going to go. I would love that. You can't do it every time. There's a certain number that they get, but just a quick tap of the helmet. Hey, man, that was off. That was, and it
like a tennis challenge system.
Yeah, just a pop your hat, and they'll take 2 seconds, look at it. You know what? That was a ball. Take your base. It is. It's such a no-brainer at this point to do that. I don't think you're going to be missing anything. I don't think, you still have the human element. They're going to call most balls and strikes. They're not going to be able to challenge everything. You're going to have to pick your spots. I just don't see why you wouldn't. Now, here's the other thing. Can a pitcher challenge one?
I would think so.
So if he throws, that slider that he threw in the zone that was called a ball, can he tap his head?
I would think so, yeah.
Can challenge,
and
the
hitter?
catcher can challenge,
and
the hitter can challenge, and I imagine both managers will be able to challenge.
I think it's just at the plate.
There was a couple of other calls in that game.
Oh, yeah, he was not good.
Nathaniel Lowe, who doubled in the third inning to start the rally that ended up being the 2-out runs that they all scored. He got one that was right at the knees, called a ball that extended the at-bat, would have struck out. Instead, he doubled, and they ended up scoring 3 runs in that inning instead of 0 runs. So that's a huge difference in the game. So the umpiring was part of the story last night. You can never blame umpires, for one team winning and one team losing, but it was clearly probably some of the worst we have seen behind home plate in the postseason, and it was in a critically close game.
And if I'm not mistaken, in game 1 you were out. They had the 75th out of 92 ranked umpire.
Yeah, Marquez is below average.
Below average.
Too.
They had him. Who the hell was it?
What are we
75 out of 92. Then he had the dish in game 1 of the World Series. Where's Pat Hoberg? I don't even think I've heard his name. And he's the best umpire. You know why? Because you never hear his name. The guy had a perfect World Series last year.
DJ Rayburn, Quinn Wolcott, and Alfonso Marquez far behind the plate.
Don't know much about Quinn, but I know Marquez is ranked low, and I know that the first guy, DJ Rayburn, is 75th out of 92. That's frustrating. That changes so much about the game. But again, hey, listen. They missed plenty of balls in the zone as well that they could have hammered, and they didn't. So it always kind of works out. I did think that at bat in the ninth was suspect, but it kind of worked out. He missed one, made it up. Just a bad time to make it up.
As for the challenge system, we'll probably talk about it more as they discuss it in the offseason if they are going to implement that like they do in the minor leagues. It'll come with some challenges to begin with. No pun intended.
Pun intended.
No pun intended. Because when you have a limited number of challenges, you're going to have to train your players to strategically understand when they need to use those. Because it won't just be coming from the dugout every single time. It's the catcher's got to make a split decision. I know that one was a strike. I've got to challenge that. But you can't just be doing every single pitch, every 1-0 pitch in the second inning. If you've got a limited number of those, you got to wait. You got to think like a coach, a manager, and judiciously use those when you feel like they impact the game the most.
Yeah, because they're not going to. Because every time, let's just use the Padres. Every time Ha-Seong Kim gets thrown out on the base paths, he immediately puts his hand to his ears to challenge. Well, in that point, Christensen goes over, grabs the phone, then gives Bob Melvin he's out. And Bob Melvin waves it away. But you're not going to have all of that time.
Because baseball players always think they're right. They always think the ball is a strike. I mean, Juan Soto, it worries me that if he could challenge like 72 pitches a game, it seems like.
Well,
he's always thinking that a ball is a strike. And he's often right,
Bro,
too.
he had the best ratio in Major League Baseball of spitting on, like he had the best ratio of knowing when the called strike was actually a ball. Like nobody was better at it. It's truly the old Mr. Soto will tell you when it's a strike. That's how that works for him.
But he can't challenge all of those all day long because you'll have to save some when you have a limited number.
Which is great. I mean, it's game, dependent on the situation. You could have your first base coach or your third base coach. He gives you the sign and you give it, you tell the umpire. But they got to do something, man. You don't want umpires really having this big of an effect on the game. He was bad.
We'll come back. Speaking of changes to the game, you sent this to me yesterday. Rob Manfred with some comments about re-emphasizing starting pitching in baseball.
There we go.
Tinkering with baseball again. Ben and Woods coming up next on The Fan.
Well, Benny, if you're wondering why Rob Manfred is in the lab again, wanting to tweak baseball, it's because, well, he's feeling himself. He is feeling himself. The changes he made to the game this year, I think, a resounding success. I really do. I was against some of them. Had an open mind about some of them. The pitch clock one, I was really, really against. Now I'm all for it. I love it. I think it's fantastic. But he did what he set out to do. I think there was more action in baseball this year. There were stolen bases were up. So mission accomplished, Rob. That is a feather in your cap. This is where it gets dangerous. It's like I've done this. What if we did this? And we want to now let's listen to the complaints from the people that want starting pitchers to go more than 4 innings or 3 innings or whatever it may be. So he's got some ideas on how to, quote, emphasize starting pitching again. And it's a thing, man. It's a thing. I saw somebody tweet, I think it was Eno, talking about how no one in the minor leagues are being stretched out to be long starters. I mean, these guys are max effort, 4 to 5 inning guys right now. No one is really breeding the next Verlander, the next Sandy Alcantara, the guys that can go out and give you 7, 8. We get excited now when a guy gets through 5, and we're like, dude, mission accomplished, job well done.
Great outing.
What a workhorse you are.
You're right about the part that Rob Manfred, the changes that they implemented have been very successful this year. Saw Bill Shakin pointing out last time that there was a 3-1 game in the World Series. Game 6, 2020 World Series. Final score 3-1. Time of game 3 hours 28 minutes. Yesterday, final score 3-1. Time of game 2 hours, 51 minutes, 37 minutes faster than that last time there was a 3-1 game in the World Series. So
I think inherently that is a good thing.
Yeah, there's more action. There's less downtime between pitches. The changes have been successful. The question is, do they have a problem when it comes to starting pitchers not going deeper into the games? What's the actual problem that fans are complaining about?
So here's what MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred said. This was last week. He was talking to the press. He said, quote, "There's a lot of fans who feel like the change from let's see who's today's pitching matchup is to who's the opener today has not been a positive one." So he wants to emphasize pitchers going deeper into games.
Correct.
That being said...
And the idea is they limit teams to just 12 pitchers,
right,
have one fewer guy in the bullpen, which makes it almost forces teams to use their starters for longer simply because they have no other choice. They don't have a deep enough bullpen to be taking guys out or using openers or going with 2-inning outings.
Well, and again, this is where it gets dicey with baseball. Look, you want to move the fences in to get a little more offense, more home runs. You want to ban the shift to, open up some holes for guys to get some more action going. You want to get bigger bases so guys can steal a little easier. I'm all for it. You want to get the pitch clock, keep the game moving? Fine. When it gets down into you're now telling me how I can and can't win a ball game, it's tough. That's why I hate the 3-batter rule. I hate it. I understand. No one wants to see, your lefty reliever specialist. It's tough. It's a different. But when you're telling me how I can and can't win a ball game with the guys that I have, with the roster that you set that number at 26, that's where it gets a little dicey for me.
To me, the starting pitching problem is it's a solution in search of a problem, because you're not adding more good starting pitchers to the game.
Solution in search of a problem.
You're still, guess what? If you've got a really good starting pitcher, for the most part, the managers are going to let them go. Yes, they're going to protect them in terms of innings over the course of the season. I don't think that will change under any new rules. They're not going to force guys to go 8 instead of 7. If they don't have it in them, they don't have it in. They need to win those games. They're going to have their best pitchers in there. But the Diamondbacks aren't starting Joe Mantiply necessarily today because of some brilliant strategy. They just don't have any more good starting pitchers left. And you can't create new good starting pitchers just by forcing guys to go longer into games. You want to see more bad pitching in the game? Though this is a way to do it. Force guys to be in there longer that really shouldn't be in there. You're not really solving anything. You're just kind of shuffling the pieces around, but they're the same pieces that you're putting out there. To me, if I'm a fan of a team, I want them to put the best players out who can win that game that I went to that day.
Every single time.
And if that means that the starter or the opener only goes an inning or two, because that was the best strategy, I don't have a problem with that.
Nor do I. And nor does it take away from...
They're not holding back Blake Snell from a start today to go with their opener instead.
Right.
They're going with their best pitchers that they have for as long as they can put them out there. That's what a manager is going to do.
And I think this has sparked you guys from a couple of postseason outings where Merrill Kelly was absolutely cruising through, and he gets pulled after 5 innings. Again, Torey Lovullo knows Merrill Kelly. Torey Lovullo knows his bullpen. Torey Lovullo spends day in and day out with these guys, and that's his job, to manage the ball club to the best of his ability, not to make the guy in the stands that likes Bob Gibson happy. Right? That's not Torey Lovullo's job. Bob Gibson used to go 4 complete games a week. Yeah, it was 70 years ago. Things change. Look, I would love to have 5 guys in my rotation, Ben, that were capable of going 7 innings. It's not a young versus old thing here. But I got to do what I got to do to win a ball game. And if these guys hit 450 off my starting pitcher the 3rd time through, I'm not going to do it just because Christy Mathewson did it in 1931. I don't that part of the game of like, we got to keep it old school all the time. No. My job is to win a baseball game as a manager. And I know my pitcher. I can see it in his eyes that he's done. And I know when his curveball's flat. And I know when his fastball's lost some velo. I know when he's hanging his cutter. 100% I'm going to another arm. 100%.
Now, there were changes that were made because the best way to win a baseball game wasn't always the most aesthetically pleasing.
Correct.
And that's why we have a pitch clock now. Yeah, it's probably advantageous for a pitcher to stand there for 45 seconds and let his arm gear up to throw as hard as he can every single time. That's not aesthetically pleasing for baseball fans.
Agreed.
I think stolen bases are fun and exciting. Bringing more of them back into the game by increasing the size of the bases and limiting the throws over, it made the game more aesthetically pleasing.
So does he have a solution for this? Because it sounds like the only solution would be something that would be completely moronic, and starting pitcher must go 5 innings. That's not going to happen, nor should it, because every starting pitcher at any level, from little league, if you played in the big leagues, every starting pitcher has gone out and towed the rubber and not had his good stuff and been absolutely murdered, knocked around in the first 3 innings. Now I got to gut through 2 more innings because we want to get baseball back to the old school way. Again, if you gave me 5 Randy Jones that could go out and just pump the zone and get ground balls, I'm in. I'm all the way in. I don't care. I don't need to see these specialists. The less bullpen I got to use, the better I'm going to be in the playoffs. So it's not that. It's you're now asking every organization to make a sweeping change of like somebody said in the chat, and I wonder if this is true. Gil said the Padres put a 3-inning max on their starting pitchers in the minors. I don't know that that's true.
That's not true.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
maybe at one level.
I mean, I'm sure that there are definitely minor league pitchers who throw more than 3 innings for the Padres.
Sure, maybe it's at certain level.
Maybe a rookie ball,
or something
like that. Yeah.
Which again, now you're going to ask organizations to do things differently than they've done in the past. And again, I don't know of one GM or manager that wouldn't want a stable, you guys, of Sandy Alcantara's, guys that can go out and give you 7 innings. We've got a couple of those guys on our team. We do. We've got, when Yu's locked in, he's 7-inning guy. When Joe Musgrove's locked in, he's 7-inning guy. And the way of the complete game is just kind of, it's gone by the wayside, and it makes sense, right? The money is more. The investment is way more. They're more important. The regular season's such a grind, and it's long, and you want these guys fresh for a playoff run, fresher than they would be. And I just don't know what his solution would be.
Let's push back Take on Woods until next hour because I want to talk about this a little bit more. So if you're looking to play our game, we'll do it at 8:10 this morning. There's nothing inherently exciting about seeing a guy go 9 innings and give up 4 runs. It's a good outing. It's fine.
Yeah.
But that happened a lot when I was growing up.
It did.
Complete game. Guy gave up 5 runs and went the distance and lost 5-3. There's nothing nostalgic that I miss about seeing a guy go the distance and pitch mediocrely, especially in the last 3 innings.
Yeah, I would have rather pulled him in the 7th when it was a 3-2 ball game in my favor, and then had a hard-throwing lefty come in to mow down some, and then bring my closer in and win a ball game.
Ultimately, I don't even know, if they can. Rob Manfred said we'll reduce the number of arms in the bullpen, total pitchers from 13 to 12. I think you're going to have more injuries. That's the last thing you want if you're a commissioner, is more pitchers getting hurt because they're forced to go longer. The other idea that was thrown out there is you lose your designated hitter after you take your starting pitcher out of the game.
Terrible idea.
You mentioned during the break when we talked about that. So, a team that has a highly paid star designated hitter all of a sudden loses them after 3 innings if their starting pitcher gets hurt or is ineffective, and then all of a sudden he's out of the game and you don't get to see him for the rest of the game.
Yeah, who are the best DHs in the game right now? Who are the guys that will DH and you will pay money to go see? Yordan Alvarez, I know he plays in the field some, but Yordan Alvarez, let's say he's in the lineup. The Astros are playing the Texas Rangers. The Astros have a Hunter Brown on the mound. He's a rookie, coming in. He'll be going to his 2nd year, but he's a little bit erratic, but he's got great stuff. So you pencil in your lineup with Yordan in the 3-hole. Hunter Brown goes out and gets lit up. And now you got to go to the bullpen. So now you got to take Yordan Alvarez, a star of the game, out of the game to pinch hit him, Chas McCormick for him? Or do you then go, well, we do run the risk of Hunter not being good, so let's just start Chas McCormick in the DH and Yordan comes off the bench? No, guys, like that's the problem. So I think that is a terrible, terrible idea. I don't think it's one they're going to implement, but I think that's a horrific idea. And that changes a lot of strategy about your lineups. And then, guy goes up and gives up 5 in the first. Like, all right, bro, if you're pulling him next inning, you got to pull your DH too. That's garbage. Nobody wants that.
So ultimately, I don't know if there is even, like I said, I don't know if there's even a problem. This is a solution in search of a problem that Major League Baseball doesn't really need to put a lot of time or energy into this offseason.
And it boils down to you would then be sending out memos to 30 organizations and all their minor leagues and saying, okay, no more innings limits on these guys. We're going to push these guys hard. We're going to build everybody up to be able to go 7, 8, 9 innings at the big league level because for some reason that's better and more exciting than having a guy coming in throwing 103 out of the bullpen like a Jordan Hicks or a Duran from Minnesota. Like, I want to use my best players to navigate 162 games. Now, you want to shorten the season a little bit, Rob? I'm all for it. I'm all for shortening the baseball season to 140 games. I think it would be 70. It would feel more like a sprint. You could trim the fat off of the Major League Baseball season. Hell, give me another playoff team. I don't care. Make them all 7 games. Let's do the real...
Extend the playoffs.
Extend the playoffs.
At least the wild card round has to start at 5.
100%.
This is a whole topic for another day, but would you ever be in favor of doing what they do in the minor leagues and having... First half champion, second half champion. They both make the playoffs. Reset the standings.
Reset the standings is interesting.
In the middle of the season, they do that in the minor leagues. They did it in the strike year in 1981. Hey, first half champion, you're in. No matter what happens in the second half, you can play, 400 baseball in the second half. You've already won the first half. You're in the playoffs in the second half of the season. Be very interesting strategically what you do if you won the first half.
If you won the first half and you guaranteed yourself a slot.
Try some things.
I mean, how badass?
Rest some guys.
How badass would it be to just hey, we got 70, or let's even if it's a full season, we got 81 games, boys. Let's go out and win 50 of these bad boys. We're going to get in the playoffs, and then we're not going to cruise by any stretch.
But you can bring up some young guys. You can test some different things out.
You don't win a championship. You just secure your playoff berth early. I don't know. Does that then diminish all the teams that did win their division or whatever in the first half? Is it going to be fun watching them in the second half?
What if you have the second best record in the first half? He gets you nothing.
Right. Yeah, and then you have to start all over again.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting.
All right, we're
I don't
gonna,
like it.
Quickly,
changed my
the
mind.
best football show with Brian Baldinger wraps up the world in 15 minutes, so you can be smarter at the water cooler. Join Baldy as he explains the biggest stories from multiple vantage points and the ripple effect it has throughout football, dissecting the NFL's most exciting moments and top players, only as a film junkie can. Follow the best football show with Brian Baldinger in the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcast. All right, we'll get to Don't Do This coming up next year, Woodsy.
We've got a great radio rant. Always some of our favorite content.
It might be a do this.
It could be a do this. It's that good.
We'll figure it out, but it's terrific audio. We'll get to that coming up next with Ben and Woods after a check of traffic here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Things not to do in the locker room is the theme today of Don't Do This.
This is not about USD.
No, that's true.
Yeah. Eagles running back Kenneth Gainwell had a rough first half the other day, and he had a fumble. And they get to halftime, and they all go into their locker room, and they're going to make the halftime adjustments. And he happened to grab his phone, Ben, and click on an Instagram DM that said, quote, "Hold on to the football, you effing bum." He fumbled against the Commanders, and he replied, "Little boy, don't text me." So then the guy that got the rise out of him then posts it on social media. It starts making the rounds, and now all of a sudden, this guy's the bad guy. Kenneth Gainwell's the bad guy for responding, and head coach Nick Sirianni talked to the press and said, of course, we talked to Kenny about that. These guys have some time away from us when we get into the locker room where they sit down at their locker. They do whatever it is going to take their mind and just calm it. This is part of these guys' lives. It's some of that stuff. He's sitting in his locker. Should he respond to somebody that's DMing him? No. Shouldn't respond to that guy or girl at all. So, yes, we talked to him about that, to be locked in and focused, not worried about outside noise. He knows he made a mistake. He goes, it's kind of sucks that it's an Eagles fan, and that's a whole different set of issues if he is an Eagles fan. The other don't do this is don't DM players negative
Sure.
criticism.
I mean, this will sound hypocritical, but if you are a pro athlete, football player, you probably shouldn't be looking at your phone at all at halftime.
But you are a professional broadcaster.
I am.
And you look at your phone
I
on the
do,
air.
but I'm also looking things up that aid my job.
We have a computer.
Yeah,
He doesn't have that.
true. Now, is it okay, to check and see if maybe your wife or girlfriend texted something? I don't know.
Your dad has some words of wisdom. He wanted to text you.
Is it okay to look at your phone at halftime of a football game?
Should you be allowed to? My gut tells me, yeah, man, it's halftime. You can check your phone. Maybe don't respond. Maybe that's
Maybe
the
don't
lesson.
check social media.
Maybe don't check social media.
We have to because we're following,
You
our
don't-
tier ones are on social media.
Sometimes you don't want to see what people have, especially if you had a bad first half.
Either way.
I
mean, you don't want to be reading your
own pub.
your pub, and you don't want to be looking at the criticism if you had a bad first half.
It's fair.
By the way, Gainwell is a fantastic name for a running back.
Yes.
All right, speaking of things not to do in the locker room, don't go in and steal stuff from the locker room while the team's playing either. But that's what the Colorado football team players are reporting after they took on UCLA on Saturday. And after the game, they went back into the locker room and say they found a bunch of stuff, including jewelry, missing from their lockers.
Damn.
A report was filed with the Pasadena Police Department following the 28-16 loss, and some video was posted of players discussing the incident. Remember, they've got that crew that's following them around for Deion and documenting everything that goes on. So they said, after the game, one player can be heard saying, I just got mine, bro. I had the jewelry box and everything, bro. They took it off my jewelry box. You've seen some of the bling that Colorado players have with them. That NIL, sweet NIL money has led to some nice pieces of jewelry. I can imagine that a forward-thinking thief thought, I've seen what they wear. I've seen, they take it off during the game. I know exactly where that stuff is going to be while they are playing. Maybe you shouldn't bring it into the locker room in the first place.
Yeah, it's tough, though, because, you wear what you wear to the game. You take it off. You put it in your locker. It should be safe. Home, road, whatever. But,
some lockers have safes, or
there's a safe in there. Yeah, I mean, you can't do that. Can't do that if you're UCLA. There's cameras everywhere. I mean, I'm sure there's not cameras inside the locker room. That would be weird and illegal. But there's got to be cameras you could see who's coming and going, I would imagine, out in the hallway. Should be pretty easy to track down who did this as well. So we'll see what happens with that one. But we had to play you guys this very testy exchange and rant from
DD Mega Doo-Doo.
We've decided it is a doo-doo this. 92.3 The Fan. The Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima. And they're Browns fans. And they cover the Browns. So obviously it's torture. It's just frustrating every time they go to work on a Monday.
So they had a tough loss to the Seahawks, right?
Yep.
On Sunday.
Correct.
Last minute touchdown by Geno Smith to win that game and steal it away from the Browns.
Here's their exchange.
Stupid, Anthony, and demand for him to be fired in this position. I'm not. Hold on. You've helped me on for a long time. Listen to me.
Yeah, we're having a conversation.
I
Ken. That's
know,
how it works.
but
You go,
you're not-
I
but
go.
you're not
It's
listening
not
to me.
monologue radio. We
You're
have
not-
conversations.
Okay, I
here.
get that.
That's
That's
what we
fine.
do. I know.
Please teach me more
I know
about
the
radio.
video cameras
Please
are on, and
teach
you're
me
trying
more.
to make a whole.
Okay,
Let's have
I'll get rid of- I'll
let's
get
have a
rid of
damn
the cameras for
conversation.
you.
Because
I'm just trying-
you
I'm
interrupted
just
me
trying to make
7
you listen
times
to
in the
me.
first 2 minutes. We have a conversation.
Because you
That's
keep
all.
interrupting me
My
because you don't
God.
listen to me and
I'm
you
trying
jump to the absolute empty
You're giving
conclusion of everything.
platitudes. I'm trying to get an
There's
understanding.
No platitudes. There's no platitudes.
Okay,
I'm trying
go
to
ahead.
tell. I'm trying to explain
Provide
the game
some
to
nuance.
you.
Go ahead.
Please
Thank you.
explain more about
Thank
radio
you.
to
Thank
me.
you, football
I would
guy.
like
I
you to
appreciate
explain
it.
radio to
Thank
me.
you, football guy.
Please
Go ahead.
explain it. Yes, please.
Go ahead.
Please explain radio. Now tell me how this
So
works.
I'm asking for nuance.
Does this mic work? I don't know what's going on.
I'm asking for nuance, Ken, because
I'm giving you nuance. You refuse to listen.
Of all the seasons to go after Stefanski the strongest, this is not the one with the third string
my
quarterback.
God.
That's all I'm trying to get from you.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
I mean, I
fine.
thought Stefanski gave a master class for 55 minutes on how the football stuff works, but the football guy is telling me you're looking at one play. And I'm like, my God, that's what average football fans say around the league every day. And I just don't, I'm surprised to hear from you. That's
Don't
all.
you ever accuse me of that ever again on this show.
Now we got another.
No,
it's like the
I'm
Daryl
serious.
moment all over again.
And I don't care.
My God,
because you're not
Kenny.
listening. You just want to start some argument over Kevin Stefanski.
Well, that's the whole show today. And that's what I'm saying is every guy's going to call up and say that play. We
No,
get that.
because you'd rather
Give
start a
me
fight with me than
give
take
me-
the calls.
give
I
me
know what
some-
you're doing
Give
to
me
me.
something more than that. That's all
I'm
I'm
giving you
wanting.
everything I can. I've tried to explain to you over and over and over again. You go, well, apparently you don't trust the defense. Well, apparently you don't trust this. You don't trust that. No, I'm giving you the macro level answer on all this, where you can give me all the different machinations and all the different reasons why he would keep his job. And I go, is it an entertainment business? Yep. Do they have to sell tickets? Yep. Do they have to sell merchandise? Oh, yeah. Are they going to be happy if they bring that guy back if they don't make the playoffs? Absolutely not. Well, off we go.
I mean, to me,
Not that hard.
It's going to come
Cameras
down.
are off. I swung it away.
It's unreal.
People say we talk over each other too much sometimes.
Yeah, I've heard that. Try not to, but you get passionate, you get frustrated. You know, it comes with the territory. It's mornings. You know, you're tired, you're grouchy already.
Fine. God, man. You know, go do whatever the hell you're doing.
Man.
It doesn't matter.
The best of all
do the
time.
show. Quit being a bitch.
The best of
Whatever.
all
I'm the one doing the show. You're the one checking out. Have a good day. See you. Go on, dudes. Do the show, bitch.
We're just waiting. Our moment is coming.
No,
at some point.
It doesn't have to.
I wonder how long these guys, Ken Carmen and Anthony Lima, have been together.
Well, the most uncomfortable part about an on-air blow-up is when all right, we'll be right back. Here's traffic with Kelly Danik, and then you turn the mic off and you're like, what the hell was that? Or he's like, hey, that was actually pretty good. Ben and I have gotten in some arguments before, and we turn the mic off and be like, that was good. It was a good discussion.
Yeah.
I don't take it personally. I don't think you do either. It's not a personal thing. It's not like I'm like, you're ugly, and you're like, well, you're chubby. Like, it's nothing like that. It's, look at that mole on your arm. You know what I mean? It doesn't get personal.
Do the show, bitch.
I don't know. I think our opinions are as personal as it gets.
Sure. But I think where he really lost it, which I'll do too, when he talked about, teach me how to do radio, because I don't know. Please tell me. I got 10,000 hours. You're going to tell me how to do
Like
radio?
we mess with Ben.
Yeah.
When he Ben-splains.
Yes,
Hey,
Ben-splaining
Are you
is-
Ben-splaining,
Yeah,
radio
defense.
mechanics
Are you
to us?
are you Ben-splaining how divisions work, Ben?
Right. But imagine, like, actually getting super angry over that.
It's so good. It's really uncomfortable.
All right, next time he Ben-splains, just
Light him up.
Flip out.
I can't because he's too sweet, and I don't ever want to be mad at him. I have a lot of love for Ben.
That's Don't and Do This for a Tuesday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, not saying he's definitely getting the job, but Mike Schilt is clearly the or one of the leading candidates to be the next Padres manager. We just happen to know someone.
We do.
Who covered Mike Schilt as manager of the St. Louis Cardinals. She is a good friend of the program. Katie Wu from The Athletic is going to give us a bit of a scouting report on what we could possibly expect if Mike Schilt is named the next manager of the San Diego Padres.
Yeah.
And, we'll just talk baseball with Katie as well, World Series and more. Always enjoy chatting with her. That is next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Primetime NFL games available free from Westwood One, live here on 97.3 The Fan and on our Odyssey app. This Thursday, listen to the Titans and Steelers, and then next Monday, it's the Chargers and the Jets right here on 97.3 The Fan at 4:30, or just download the Odyssey app and search for 97.3 The Fan at kickoff. All right, Mike Shildt, not the manager of the Padres yet, but definitely is a leading possibility to take over the job. When we come back from traffic, Katie Woo's going to join us. She covered Mike Shildt with The Athletic for the St. Louis Cardinals. Can give us a little taste of maybe what to expect if he does become the next Padres manager. Do that after a check with Kelly here on 97.3 The Fan. All right, from Kelly to Katie, we are joined right now by Katie Woo from The Athletic, covering the St. Louis Cardinals, where Mike Shildt's been out of that organization for a couple of years, but he was certainly very formative for at least a few seasons there. Katie, good morning to you.
Good morning, fellas. I just got a picture from our sweet, sweet Paul about what you all look like in studio, and just 10 out of 10 today. Great
Thank you.
spirit.
Thank you. What did you dress up as?
I dressed up as, it was a partner costume. My partner was a beer keg. I was a pint of beer. And this is why you don't let the men pick the costume.
It was his choice.
Yes. I look like a giant orange rectangle, so it's great.
Well, I've never been allowed to, since I met my wife, I've never been allowed to pick my own costume. Hence why I have cat whiskers drawn on my face and a tail and ears. So I don't really get to choose anymore. You're not married yet. Once you get married, you will get to choose costumes for the rest of your life, Katie. That's how that works.
I hope so. I paid my dues, I think.
100%. What's your favorite Halloween candy before we get Mike Shildt's CV?
Oh, my favorite Halloween candy? Okay, this might get a little reaction, but I love Almond Joys.
Oh, me too. We are two almonds in a pod.
I don't like coconut. I don't like almonds.
You guys are insane. They're so good. Yeah. And you get the two little almonds in there, and do you go one bite or do you split it down the middle?
I split.
You split. Okay. All right. I can get with that. I can get with that for sure. I love that. I love Almond Joys too. I never have found another human being that likes Almond Joys. Ben hates them. Paul doesn't like them. Hannah doesn't like them. All more for us is how I look at it, Katie.
Exactly.
Well, so we had talked about having you on. I texted you, talked to you a little bit last week, and we were kind of, as the details emerged that Mike Shildt potentially could be the leader in the clubhouse for the new Padres managerial job. And, we asked Adam Jones about Ryan Flaherty, who's also been mentioned. But, Mike Shildt a little bit, had a relationship with him. Let's start with the pros of hiring Mike Shildt as your manager if you're the San Diego Padres.
Sure. Well, I think his track record speaks for itself, right? I mean, he was the manager for 3 years, interim manager for 3.5. So we'll say roughly 4 years for the Cardinals. And he brought the Cardinals to the postseason 2019, 2020, and 2021, his first real 3 seasons as manager. He also was the manager of the year, finished 3rd in 2021 for that same award. So obviously he knows what it takes to build a successful club and keep that leadership within the clubhouse. Very fundamentally heavy. I mean, he spent nearly 2 decades in the Cardinals organization going up through the minor league system. So the fundamentals and the small ball, that's really instilled in him. He likes to manage that way. He likes the double steals, the sack bunts, kinds of things. Now, I'm not sure if that would be the right fit for the Padres team, of course. You guys would know that much more than I would, but it was really successful the way the Cardinals did it.
So, Katie, it has to be asked, if he was so successful and was going to the playoffs 3 years in a row, why was he fired? I remember asking the question at the time, never really got a solid answer from the Cardinals organization back then, other than the old philosophical differences thing. I'm sure you followed kind of up over the years and heard things. What What really turned the relationship there, and why was he not able to build on that and continue as the Cardinals manager?
Yeah, the Cardinals not giving a clear answer. What a shocker. I think...
So it's not just us.
No, not just you at all. I feel like there were a lot of different narratives kind of spun out there because it did come as a surprise. I mean, they had finished that season in 2021 with a 17-game winning streak to sneak into the playoffs. And really with that roster, that was a testament, I think, to both the guys and the coaching staff. But I was under the impression that Mike Shildt was going to get an extension. And when the exact opposite happened, it was very surprising. One narrative out there was that he wasn't very analytics forward. I think that was a little overblown. The way that the Cardinals and Shildt used to run that organization, yes, Shilt's a little old school, likes the small ball like I talked about, but I don't think he was turned off by analytics by any means. I think there was just a difference in leadership preferences going forward. 2021 and 2020, dating back to that, were obviously two very hard years to manage or really do anything at all as you're experiencing a global pandemic. And I think when the Cardinals were looking to things becoming more normal and looking at how they were going to establish themselves going forward, they just no longer saw Shildt as the right fit. Shocking. I think everyone was surprised. And, I think there's still some clarity there as to what went wrong. But I will say that it's been surprising to me that Shildt hasn't seen more substantial managerial interviews, obviously, than the one that he did on Friday.
Yeah, that surprises me too. And you do wonder, look, I mean, not just the baseball business, all business is a word of mouth. It can be a bit of a boys club from time to time. You can burn bridges but I was surprised as I was he was fired by the St. Louis Cardinals. I was equally surprised that he was hired by the San Diego Padres. And, hopefully it turns out to be a good move. He seems like a guy that likes his players, like defends his players a lot. We all saw the video leaked out by Arozarena. I loved that. I mean, that's enough for me, like to have a guy that has a little bit of chapped ass every now and then.
We don't start the Shildt.
Yeah, we don't start it. Yeah, we'll finish the Shildt. I thought it was great. And, I think he's, we have been kind of in need of some of that here, a little bit of that fire.
Yeah, what I really liked about Shildt is he's very understanding about the job everyone had to do. So he grew up going to his mom who worked in a AA baseball team. And so he was in the press box every day, and he saw firsthand, the actual jobs of the media and how important it was that he had a good relationship with everybody. And I think that, one, was very helpful in the media perspective, but two, I saw that same kind of mindset with his players. There were plenty of times where he felt like a player didn't get the right call. I remember one incident was Giovanni Gallegos was asked to change his hat. This was before the sticky substance rules came cracking down. And Shildt was so irate that his, I don't want to say tantrum, but his rampage that he went on about Gio having to change his hat in the middle of the game actually started the sticky substance crackdown.
Wow.
It was played all over Zoom because, that was back when you could just record a person. And a couple of weeks later, MLB was like, yeah, okay, we have a whole bunch of rules to make sure this doesn't happen again. So I know a majority of the players really liked playing for him. He certainly knows how to manage a winning clubhouse. Now we'll just see if he gets that chance with San Diego. And shout out to our beloved Dennis Lynn, by the way, who's been all over that story.
Just absolutely crushing it all offseason.
Katie, it seems like he's a study in contrast, Mike Shildt, a little bit, because you hear the stories about how much he cares about the players. You just mentioned, how important he thinks it has to have good relationships with everybody in the organization, media. But we also hear that he can sometimes be difficult and some talk about that. What was your kind of experience of the two sides of Mike Shildt?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that baseball is difficult, right? In those conversations, if you're not having hard conversations, you can argue that you're not really growing or benefiting in this sport, especially given how extensively and how close everyone works together for, including spring training, over 200 consecutive days. I do think, and I don't want to speak for him, so please don't feel like I am, I feel like if Shildt had a do-over, there would be a different way to go about those conversations. Everyone gets their frustrations and expresses themselves out in different ways. And I think going forward, maybe there is a different way for him to communicate. No one's doubting his passion and no one was doubting his leadership and how he wanted to succeed. But I think those narratives out there of him being a little difficult at times and being a little hard-headed are just things that he ultimately has to grow through if he wants to get another chance as manager.
He's a rebel in a little bit. I like that. I like that about him. And it's been reported as when Bob left and Mike Shildt emerged as the front runner that he does have a good working relationship with our general manager and president of baseball ops, AJ Preller. That we've seen that before. We've seen managers come in that had a good relationship. They didn't always end well, which again is not a shot at AJ. That's not uncommon at all in business of any kind. That is not uncommon, and especially in this business. But the only thing besides the small ball comment, which I'm going to vomit about, is the fact that nobody else has come knocking, as far as we know, over the last few years. I'm gonna look at it as, hey man, you had a couple of years to think about the things maybe you've done wrong. If you get your opportunity again, I expect him to probably be a little bit different of a manager than he was in St. Louis.
Yeah, I would think that's fair, and I think that's what you would want, right? I mean, if you're doing the exact same thing over and over again, eventually you're going to stop being successful at it. This game is always changing. Our jobs are always changing no matter what you do. So you want a manager that can look back and reflect and be like, here, I did some really good things in St. Louis, but there are some things I could do better if I get this next opportunity. I'm not sure. Again, you guys know that clubhouse in San Diego much more than I do, if the small ball approach is the way to go there. But I do know that any manager that's taking over for this Padres club is facing a lot of pressure off the bat because the Padres are facing a lot of pressure off the bat. So it will be an organization and a team to take over if you love a challenge. I've never known Mike Shildt to not enjoy a challenge, but certainly whoever takes that job is going to have a ton of work ahead of them, and I think a lot of eyes on them early.
Last one for me on Mike Shildt, Katie, and this will just have to be your kind of sense and opinion, but how will he be with my unrelenting string of Shildt puns if he becomes the manager? Because
it's going to be
we've
insane.
already come up with the segments. I mean,
talking
Shildt hits the fan here on 97.3 The Fan, talking Shildt, shooting the Shildt. I mean, they're just
Shildt talking.
They never stop. Is he going to be okay with that, or is he going to hate us forever?
Oh, he's for sure heard them all.
I think it's about the delivery.
Okay.
Shildt hitting the fan is a 10 out of 10. I don't know how he could not like that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you hit him with a subtle delivery, he likes that wry humor, which I think you all three have in your own special way. So you just got to hit the delivery right. It's on you to deliver it. The pressure is on you at this point, but I think you can pull it off.
I can take that.
If he does get the gig, Katie Woo, will you please drop him a text and let him put in a good word for us?
Absolutely.
Thank you. You are such a queen.
Any thoughts on the World Series that you've seen the first three games so far, Katie, and the matchup between the Diamondbacks and the Rangers?
My only real takeaway is that I hope it goes 7. I just find this such an enjoyable World Series, and I hate the narrative that no one wants to watch it. I think this is so cool for baseball. You have two teams that lost in 100 games 2 years ago in the World Series, and to see just at least a bunch of former players I know, obviously two managers that have been really, really excelled at their craft and have different stories. The Diamondbacks front office story is incredible. I just hope it goes 7, and I really don't want the baseball season to be over, mainly because when it does, you and both of us are going to have a lot of work ahead of each other.
Yes, we will.
Going 7 for a lot of reasons.
Katie, love it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time today, and enjoy your off season. Hopefully we'll see you at spring training.
You got it, guys.
Thanks, Katie Woo.
Katie Woo, covering the St. Louis Cardinals. Now, she goes to Florida for spring training, but you never know. We've run into her before, right?
We did run into her at spring training.
Winter meetings. We definitely ran into her at the winter meetings.
But also at spring training. That's the first time we ever met Katie Woo was at spring training.
That's right.
Yeah,
first
time
what the hell was
she
doing out there?
She was covering the Padres minor league.
That's right.
At the time.
And then
that
she
was
went
the
on
day,
to the Cardinals.
That was the day we were up in the booth with Jesse. You guys called a couple innings.
Terrible.
She was in the press box. She got
stung by a bee in the eye.
In the eye.
Wasn't it right in the eye?
Yeah, it was right on the corner of her eye.
I was like, I'm so sorry.
It was a rough week.
She's the best, man. She is the best.
I wish that we could do that for every rumored candidate. I don't know that we have a Ryan Flaherty guy.
AJ, we asked Adam Jones last week.
Yeah, that's true. We did. Yeah, we've got some inside information there. We haven't really heard a lot of the outside names other than rumors. Do we know a single person that AJ Preller has brought in to interview for the job other than the internal candidates?
All I really know was last week, I think AC reported at least, again, it was really just all reports, but he said Schilt was interviewed on Wednesday after the Zoom, and Flaherty was on Friday. We don't know if Ruben Niebla got an official interview.
Yeah, because I thought Ruben got one, and then I heard Coach yesterday say he wouldn't be surprised if Ruben gets one. And so I don't know if that's actually been done. Rumor mill, Benji Gill, I've heard that rumor. But you're seeing other teams that are like the Guardians ended up interviewing Craig Counsell, I believe, yesterday, which will be an interesting hire for them. I thought they were set on Stephen Vogt. But when a guy like Craig Counsell comes in, I think you have to do that interview. Coach actually pitched the idea of why wouldn't we interview Craig Counsell as well? And I think what it boiled down to is money. He's going to want Bob Melvin money or more. And that's kind of, that I think the Padres, whoever they hire, will be less than what Bob Melvin was making.
But A.J. Preller did say that he was getting a lot of outside interest from, big, what did he say, like big names have been interested in this job as soon as they heard that Melvin was leaving.
Joe Girardi, Buck Showalter, Joe Madden. I'm sure it's the usual suspects that are some of them haven't worked in a couple of years.
Phil Nevin.
Yeah, I mean, of course. Again, it doesn't matter. Even if they had heard the worst things about San Diego Padres, the culture, the toxic this, the toxic that, you still want to manage a big league club. Nothing they can do will ever turn guys away from wanting to manage a big league club. I cannot stress that enough. There's just so few of those jobs. Yeah, of course I can fix it. I'm a brilliant man. That's why everything's gonna be different. Trust me. Watch what I do. Watch what I do. Watch the plan I have in store.
Now, there's been a lot of talk about it, but nothing really substantial. Skip Schumacher, maybe not happy in Miami. Obviously, we have a good relationship with him.
I still refuse to text him.
We have a good relationship with AJ Preller, I would say. He likes us. Maybe we can
maybe
get
less than usual.
If they were to ask the Marlins for permission, do you think AJ Preller would be cool coming in studio with Skip and they do the interview live on the air?
I think that would be. I just want to know what it entails, like more than anything in the world.
Like, is it scenarios? Are they
do they just pummel you with scenarios?
All right, what are you doing in this situation?
Right.
Bottom of the eighth.
Be so fun and nerve-wracking.
Sounds like Bob Melvin's interview in San Francisco was pretty perfunctory.
Yeah, 100%. You good? We're good? All right, cool.
Doesn't seem to be a complete psychopath. Good
Sounds
to know.
good to
You're
me.
the guy. You're hired. All right, we've got 2 hours to go. When we come back, I know that there was a moment near the end of the show yesterday that you wanted to revisit.
I've been waiting for almost 24 hours.
It's coming up next year on 97.3 The Fan.
Yes. This Halloween. Yeah. Scary ass movie. First couple. Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Terrifying. Jamie Lee Curtis. Ooh. Do you like scary movies when you're little?
Nope.
Probably not yet.
Never liked scary movies.
Never.
Yeah, I think my third grade teacher had us watch The Watcher in the Woods in third grade, and I was scared forever. I was scared of Ghostbusters.
Taylor watches Ghostbusters. He's not even 3 yet and loves it.
I mean, I love Ghostbusters. It's a great movie.
Was it the old lady?
Yes!
Yeah,
in the beginning, in the library, that was terrifying.
Get her. That's your whole point. Get her.
I still.
Slimer was not.
The green blob is
Slimer
not
was
scary.
not scary.
Where are you guys out on scary movies? Because I don't like the overly gory, vicious.
No, like slasher films.
Like slasher
No,
films.
I don't like
Not
those
for
either.
me.
I
I
like-
like suspense.
Suspense, psychological thrillers will get you.
What do you think of the
I think it's
Saw
7.
series?
So I saw the first.
I liked 7. I did.
That's a scary movie,
Seven's
right?
amazing.
Yeah, I liked 7.
I saw the first Saw, and it was good, and I liked.
Diabolical. Sort
Yeah,
of
Makes
just
you think.
makes you think.
Yeah.
What was the movie that allegedly took place here?
Oh,
Scared the crap out of me. The
Paranormal Activity?
Paranormal Activity scared me to death.
Blair Witch Project.
Stupid.
Yeah, in the theater though, the first
Yeah,
time
but
was
once it
kind
got
of,
out that it was fake, it was not scary at all.
Yeah,
it was
but-
actually really quite boring.
there was a movie
Yeah.
that came out when I was 10 or 11 years old, scared the crap out of me. And it was a spook. It was kind of creepy, but not like Saw or Halloween. What Lies Beneath
Yeah.
with Harrison
with
Ford
Harrison
and Michelle
Ford.
Pfeiffer.
That movie's terrifying.
It was just on. I started watching it. It's terrifying.
It's beyond terrifying. Yeah, it's
Ugh,
very,
I don't
very.
care for demon stuff.
I mean, I saw The Exorcist when I was little. Terrifying.
Jeffrey
That-
says I used to watch Child's Play when I was 4 or 5 years old. I've never seen the Chucky.
So I always thought that was just kind of campy.
Yeah.
And corny. It didn't do much for me. I thought Freddy Krueger was pretty scary. Nightmare on Elm Street when it first came out. That was. I mean, I was probably 8, 9 years old. Maybe it was.
I like the suspense movies that obviously it keeps you stringing you along. You're thinking throughout the whole movie. Maybe there's the occasional random gunshot that you weren't expecting, and it kind of whoa. But
like not horror. That's not horror.
Right.
Yeah,
Horror film.
What's suspense and horror
different.
are a little
Very
different. Like, what's the Quiet Place with John Krasinski? I wouldn't call that horror
But it's
necessarily,
scary.
but it was tense.
Tense.
Every second
I
was
did like-
tense of that movie.
the slasheriest movies I'll go is I like the Purge movies.
I never saw any of the Purge movies, but I did like when Ben and I were growing up. Anytime you would see a Friday the 13th, it was good because there were boobs in it. So you always got to see some girl going swimming at midnight in a lake. When you're an idiot. I mean, sorry, I'm not trying to be mean here, but you deserve what's coming to you because you know he's out there. You've already lost 2 friends from your trip, and now you're going to go. I'm here for it. You're going to go skinny dipping, and so you knew that was coming in those movies. So you were always down to watch that.
I didn't care for Scream.
No, I thought Scream was. Well, I think I liked the first.
Kind of
one.
that campy.
It was
feel.
kind of campy, but I kind of liked. Did you see Scream at all?
I did see Scream, at least the
liked it.
first one. Yeah.
I liked it. It was
Final
a little bit
Destination scared the hell out
That
of me.
was-
Joey says Hostel is the only valid horror movie.
Good Lord, I saw
have
that
seen
in the theater.
One.
It scared me to death.
That was pretty scary.
Scared me to death. Hannah and I watched one a couple of years ago. We went to the theater to see it about a blind guy. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? A blind guy in Detroit. That's all I remember. It scared the crap out of us. He was
not
blind.
Not
and-
the M. Night Shyamalan one, no.
No, what the hell was it? It's a blind.
I like Sixth Sense, though.
That was great. Yeah. That's not a horror movie, though. Blind guy horror
We've talked
movie.
about it before.
Don't Breathe. Oh, my
Signs
God.
might as well be a horror movie.
Signs might as well.
Terrifying.
This movie, a trio of friends break into the house of a wealthy blind man thinking they'll get away with the perfect heist. They're wrong. Scared me to death, dude. The old man that played the blind guy. Elderly people will get me. And little kids, they will get me.
You're scared of the elderly.
In the movies, I'm very scared of the elderly woman or the little kids. It's very, very creepy.
I'm trying to think of scary movies that weren't actually scary movies, but terrifying.
I mean, the trailer for the new Exorcist that came out with the
Haven't
2
seen
little
it.
girls is too terrifying for me to even think of watching that movie
The Shining is still my favorite horror movie of all time.
with kids.
It's just, but it's just terrifying.
So Scream was, a movie. What would be my movie? Gulp or
Yes, vomit mouth?
I did not throw up in my mouth during the show yesterday. I
Sure
promise you.
sounded and looked like it. Stir of Echoes is a brilliant horror movie.
I've never heard of that one.
Kevin Bacon's in it. Oh, it's good.
I haven't heard of that.
The Strangers is very good. So, Tier 1's weighing in. Very, very good movie as well. Very scary. The Conjuring, yeah, that was very scary as well. Yeah, you guys are... I won't watch a horror movie, though. Like, if it's on, I won't seek one out. Do you? Like, I want to watch a scary movie. No, I don't do that. All right, let's go, Paulie. This is yesterday, towards the end of the show.
Yeah, 9 o'clock hour yesterday, you guys were wanting to trade Juan Soto or something like that. And Ben just... We still don't know what it is.
Still don't know what it is.
I went back and I watched on YouTube. Now, the mics didn't quite pick up his sound that he made as well as it did in studio here. So I boosted it just a little. Okay. Take a listen to this.
Will the Padres be better in 2024 without Juan Soto? Juan Soto is the best possible option for 2024.
What? Did you vomit in your mouth?
Juan Soto is the best possible option for 2024.
But he looked like he goes his cheeks puffed out. I go, he's threw up his mouth. Like I was waiting for it to, we've all had the
projectile.
But his cheeks like that.
He swallowed it down.
Like he was about to hork all
for
over
2024.
That doesn't do it any justice because the face was.
There was definitely an upward feeling. Yeah, but nothing came out.
It's like a dry run.
Yeah, it was like a heave, though.
Heave.
There was some sort of heave that went on. You could hear in my voice, I had been struggling through that whole segment. Had that little, you try to clear your throat and it only makes it worse, and then you're like, I was struggling in that segment, and all of a sudden I had just that moment where it kind of heaved up. Nothing came up, but it certainly felt like that.
I swear I thought you had swallowed vomit, which happens. You acid reflux, something like that. But I'm like, he just threw up in his mouth.
Yeah, Anthony says regurgitated his breakfast. Well, I don't eat breakfast.
Maybe
breakfast. I would have if there was anything down there. But
one more time, I boosted it a little more. Okay. This is not exactly how it sounded, but there's the second noise. So you're gonna hear the first, and then just wait a second.
Juan Soto is the best possible option for 2024.
It's the burp, then the swallow. These mics really do get anything, man.
Almost sounds like I'm jumping off a diving board landing into the water. Juan Soto is the best possible option for 2024.
Yeah, right in the water. Perfect 10, everybody. What time was it yesterday? Like 9:50 or something?
It was late in the show.
44.
Yeah, Paulie, if you can pull the clip and tweet it out later, I want to see. You have to see his face. His face is just spectacular. Are we doing Take on Woods?
Yeah,
here?
we need a contestant. We didn't play last hour, so if you want to try to qualify for Las Vegas, last day of the month of October, give us a call, 833-288-0973. Musical trivia incoming in about 2 minutes, so we need a caller right now at 833-288-0973.
Oh, my God.
Holy crap.
Feel better today. I don't know what was going on that last hour. I just was struggling through some sort of
when I was trying to pull that clip, I could hear you you had the.
He was like the raspy,
the frog in your throat. You're fighting it down, and then finally you just couldn't take it anymore.
Everyone's wanting to know what time it was so they can actually see the video and go back to yesterday's YouTube stream. So 9:44 a.m. ish yesterday.
Talking about Juan Soto.
Yeah,
brilliant.
A couple more movie suggestions. Pet Sematary. I read that, but now did you read Stephen King? I read a couple of Stephen King's.
Terrifying, man.
And those were great. I think those are more terrifying than the movies when you're reading quietly.
They always were. But Pet Sematary, Zelda, the sister in the bed, you're done. You're done for. Fred Gwynn playing the neighbor across the street. It's just a creepy. It's sad. He loses his kid and has to bury him. I mean, it's just horrible. It's horribly, horribly terrifying. But yeah, Stephen King stuff gets me all the time. Got a contestant? We ready or what?
We're still waiting for a caller. 833-288-0973. Please, challenge Woods. We've got a few qualifiers this month, but Woods has had a pretty good month on Take on Woods. So if you can get in, you got decent odds of winning that trip to Las Vegas. So give it a shot. 833-288-0973. We got Chris Stapleton tickets to give away as well later in the show today. Did that yesterday. Had a ton of people who were calling in. So we will have another opportunity. Probably do it around the same time, 9:28 or so in about an hour if you want to win.
You guys want to do the cue to call?
Yeah, let's do cue to call for that.
All right.
Don't call now.
This is
call for Take on Woods.
The sound bite will be, but do not call now for the tickets. Sometime in the next hour and a half, maybe during a commercial break. Probably during a commercial break, you'll hear got some isolated Chris Stapleton vocals. And far away.
Nice.
Live
Live
from the crapper.
Then it'll be time to
call.
call.
All right, so now you're listening for that the rest of the show. And when you hear that, you call in for the Chris Stapleton tickets. Right now, though, let's get to it. It is time to play Take on Woods. All right, going cold here. Is this Josh on the line?
Yeah, this is me.
All right, Josh, you're our contestant today. We have sent Woods out of the studio. He does not get to hear this part of the game, but if you can beat or tie him today, we will put you into our drawing. Grand prize getaway, 2 nights at the Westgate, Las Vegas. Tickets to Frankie Valli at the International Theater. You can get your VIP packages and tickets at Ticketmaster.com. Here are the categories today for you to choose from. Dress to the Nines, 5 musical answers that include at least one number 9. Heartstoppers, 5 song titles that end with the word heart. And our new category, Fast or Slow. Those are 5 musical answers that include either the word fast or slow. So, Dress to the Nines, Heartstoppers, or Fast or Slow. What's it going to be, Josh?
Let's go Fast or Slow.
Fast or Slow. All right, going with the new one again. Are we speeding up or throttling down a little? Today on Take on Woods, we have 5 musical answers that all include either the word fast or the word slow. You'll have 60 seconds. If you don't know an answer, say pass, because we can always come back around to it if there's time left on the clock. First question's the 2-second song. Paulie's going to play a short snippet of a well-known tune. You need to give me the title and the artist to score that point, and we'll go on from there. Josh, are you ready to play?
Ready to go.
All right, 60 seconds on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays our music. Category fast or slow. Good luck, Josh. Let's take on Woods.
Fast Car, Luke Combs.
Ooh, no, incorrect. English rockers Foghat recorded 5 different versions of which 1975 hit. One goes nearly 11 minutes. The radio version clocks in at less than 4.
Life in the Fast Lane.
Incorrect. The Eagles sang about a couple who knew all the right people, took all the right pills, and which hit from their Hotel California album. Come on, Josh. Usher's first Billboard hit was which 1998 sensuous ballad from his second album, My Way?
Pass.
Which alt-rock band is known for their 1998 hit, The Way?
Oh, Josh.
Pass.
I'm going back to this one. The Eagles sang about a couple who knew all the right people.
Life in the Fast Lane.
Thank you very much. Usher's first. You got your one.
I was going to lose it.
I know. You gave the answer for Slow Ride by Foghat, but you did get Life in the Fast Lane. Fast Car is Tracy Chapman, but you did get the title at least. Nice and Slow is Usher and
Luke Combs did cover that
he did
song,
cover it.
But that was Tracy Chapman.
Tracy Chapman's version. I can't give him the Luke Combs credit. Give him 1.5 kind of. Fastball was The Way. Let's bring Woods back in. He's going to win this one, but Josh, you never know. You can hang on the line. All right, he doesn't get the category. See if he can figure it out as we go. 60 seconds back on the clock. Woods, your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck. Let's take on Josh.
That's Fast Car, Tracy Chapman.
Correct. English rockers Foghat recorded 5 different versions of which 1975 hit. One goes nearly 11 minutes.
Slow Ride.
Correct. The Eagles sang about a couple who knew all the right people, took all the
Life
right...
in the Fast Lane.
Correct. Usher's first Billboard hit was which 1998 sensuous ballad from his second album, My Way?
No idea.
Which alt-rock band is known for their 1998 hit, The Way?
Oh, Fastball.
Correct. Usher's first Billboard hit was which 1998 Sensuous ballad from his second album, My Way.
Hit me in the taint with your
but
car.
you got 4. It's nice and slow. It's fast and slow. 4-1. Woodsy takes it today in a quick and efficient game.
Thank you very much.
Josh was funny because he didn't know, and he guessed Life in the Fast Lane for Slow Ride. But then he passed on Life in the Fast Lane.
He said Fast Car by Luke Combs, which we couldn't give him the credit.
Correct.
And then he said Life in the Fast Lane for Slow Ride. And then the next question was the Eagles question.
And he
goes, pass. We're like, no!
No, you had it.
You knew the
Yeah,
answer.
you get panicked from time to time.
You do. That's okay, Josh. Thank you for playing. You can always try it again at a future date. But Woods, another win this month in Take on Woods. He's had a very solid month of October.
Feels real good.
All right, we're going to take a timeout. We'll come back. Can we play that Dabo Sweeney?
Please, yes.
Audio, because I thought it was an interesting. It's very long. We don't have to play the whole thing.
Are you Team Dabo here?
I think I'm Team Dabo here. I wasn't expecting to be Team Dabo.
Maybe I can be changed. My mind can be changed, but I don't know, man.
We'll get to that coming up next after a check of traffic on Ben Woods. Happy Halloween on 97.3 The Fan. We had a bit of an argument after the first game of the college football season when Clemson was knocked off by Duke. And I argued, I think Clemson will still end up with more wins than Duke at the end of the season. So far, Duke continues to lead that race. They've lost a couple of times. Clemson, though, is not having a good year. They're 4-4.
I got them this weekend, man. Ooh.
This year. They got Notre Dame this weekend, so 4-5 is a real possibility for the Clemson Tigers. And it, of course, has led to some, not great feelings among the fan base. The fans are restless, and they had a chance to call in. Dabo Swinney does a weekly radio show and takes calls. Can
you imagine, by the way, how great that would be? Do a weekly with the Padres skipper or the GM and say, all right, we're going to open the phones. Strap in for this one.
Certainly, it has the potential for some tense moments.
Sure.
If you get the right mix of collar with a coach who is in a tough spot.
Maybe a little moonshine mixed in there as well.
You get a little fireworks going. And on the show yesterday, or earlier this week, a caller called in and asked Dabo to justify his, I think, $11 million salary for a 4-4 record. Dabo was not happy about it. We got some of the audio here.
We got all the audio.
We got all the audio.
It's a
here.
long.
Yeah. All right. We'll listen to some of it.
Through it.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, why are we paying you $11.5 million to go 4-4? And it's not just this year. It's been just the refusal to accept.
All right. What's this guy's name? Tyler. Hey, Tyler. I've listened to enough for you. Tyler,
oh God.
You can have all your opinions that you want. All right. I don't know how old you are. Don't really care, all right? But let me tell you something. We won 11 games last year, and you're part of the problem, to be honest with you, because that is part of the problem. It's people like you that all you do is the appreciation, the expectation is greater than the appreciation, and that's the problem. And so, we've won 12 10-plus win seasons in a row. That's happened 3 times in 150 years. So if you want to know why, Clemson ain't sniffed a national championship for 35 years. We've won 2 in 7 years. And there's only 2 other teams that can say that, Georgia and Alabama. Okay? Is this a bad year? Yeah. And it's my responsibility. Take 100% responsibility for it. But all this bull crap you're thinking, all these narratives you read, listen, man, you can have your opinion all you want. And you can apply for the job. And good luck to you. All right?
God,
but to answer your question, right, we're second in draft picks. We've graduated 98% of our guys. We're second in wins. All right? If you want to know why, again, I'm telling you, we're not perfect. There's a lot of teams that, Frank Howard never had a bad year. Coach Ford never had a bad year. Coach K has never had a bad year in basketball. People have a bad year. But the part of the problem is the appreciation. I used to tell people all the time, they'd say, what's the difference in Clemson? I'm going to tell you. At some places there's an expectation, but at Clemson there's an appreciation. And what's happened at Clemson is we've won so much that even when it used to be the fun's in the winning, now even when you win, people like you complain and criticize the coaches and question everything.
I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit.
Yeah, let me just jump in for a second, because I think in a lot of ways Dabo is exactly right. Sports is a zero-sum game. There's a loser for every winner in every single game. College football, pro football,
not soccer,
baseball.
But yeah, right.
Well, you get ties, obviously, but ultimately, only one team can win a championship at the end of the year. Everyone's trying. Doesn't necessarily mean you had a bad year because you didn't win the title at the end. And you could still be a really good coach and have a mediocre season every once in a while. In fact, as Dabo pointed out, it's almost guaranteed. Even the best coaches, even the legends, there's going to be some clunkers in there. Coach K had a couple of clunkers over the years. And is Clemson having a kind of a clunker this year? Yeah, you can make that argument that they certainly are. But how many times have coaches got a job? I mean, look at Bob Melvin. He had 2 seasons. One was pretty good. Took the Padres to the National League Championship Series, followed it up with a clunker. Do we not know that Bob Melvin wouldn't have had 6 more good seasons had he stuck around. Do we not have enough patience with coaches sometimes, knowing you're going to have some clunkers? More than likely, in your first 3 or 4 years on the job, 1 or 2 of them are going to not be great. Do you need to stick with coaches longer?
I mean, look, should Josh McDaniels continue to get opportunities? I mean, if you're a Raiders fan this morning, do you want to hear from Josh McDaniels about what a brilliant, mind he is? If you're a Raiders fan this morning, you're excited about Josh McDaniels? I think it's coach dependent. And I think if you have skins on the wall, it's much easier to take that tone. I don't necessarily agree with calling fans part of the problem. They do, they don't pay your salary out of their own pocket, but they support
indirectly.
Your program.
They do pay your salary. Boosters,
sure.
Fans who buy tickets, merch, whatever.
But that Tyler from Spartanburg isn't Venmoing him $5,000 a month, as part of a deal or something. So he's not wrong. I don't ever like a coach attacking the fans, ever. I don't like a radio host attacking the fans. I don't like anybody. If you're in a business like we're in or like they're in, your job is to entertain and do the best job that you can. Going after the people that listen is not always the smartest thing to do. Going after the people that come to the stadium to support your program,
buy tickets,
merch.
Food.
It's not the smartest thing to do. And it really rubs me the wrong way when it happens.
I imagine even in a 4-4 season, attendance at Clemson's
pretty good. But the flip side to that coin, though, is there's only so long you can rest on what you've done in the past, right? So that's, Coach, I think what I would tell Dabo Swinney is like, all right, well, yeah, you're right. Like, not everybody's going to go undefeated every year. Nick Saban doesn't do it. Bill Belichick's obviously dying right now as the head coach of the Patriots. How long can you rest on what you've done in the past, right? And I think college football is just a tougher animal. I mean, it's kids, number one. It's kids. Number two is there's money, there's NIL, there's recruiting. It's just impossible. I think fans do need to be understanding of that. But the other thing, though, Ben, is like, imagine if we had A.J. Preller on today and he tried to pull, hey, well, we have had 2 winning seasons in a row. How does that sound? How does that go over? Like, bro, we're not stupid. We're not.
Context matters.
Context matters. Our audience isn't dumb. You can't hang your hat on a 2020 season or an 82 and 80 season that took a miracle.
Can you hang your hat on 10 wins as a college football coach nowadays? I mean, that sounds sounds really good. Brady Hoke can say, hey, I had a 10-win season a couple of years ago. The Aztecs have had a few of them in the last decade.
But the program, Brady Hoke's program, is in decline, right? It's not. Clemson's is in neutral. It's not. It's like we got to get back to where we were. Brady Hoke's never seen those heights. He's never been that high up on winning national championships and stuff, right? So I think it's a tough look. He shouldn't be so defensive about it. But then again, that is his program. It's not like he's not working hard to do it. It's just a rough year for them. I hope it continues.
Won 2 national championships. Clemson went 35 years. All right, probably since before you were born. Your whole freaking life.
Uh-oh.
And we've won 2 in 7 years. And we earned it. And we beat the best of the best to do it. The best of the best.
He's not wrong.
12, 10-plus win seasons. So if you want to know why, that's why. Am I perfect? Nope. I'm far from it.
Oh, man. Yeah, I tend to lean a little bit more Team Dabo on this. Calling a man's salary into question is kind of a tough look. It is. It's kind of a tough look, but it is what it is. I don't know. He's an interesting dude, man. He's done nothing but piss and moan, though, since NIL started. Nothing. Yeah, it's all he's done. It's like built in for him why we can't win. I mean, when you go into, you're the head football coach, I mean, we can't win. We just can't win.
I know you just said calling a man's salary into question is kind of lame, but when the guy is like one of the highest paid football coaches in the world at $11 million a year.
4 and 4 ain't cutting it.
Well, no, just the one he's complaining about kids making money.
Right.
It's like, really, guy? Mm-hmm. Really?
That was kind of everybody's take on Dabo.
Which I think is fair.
Which, and at the beginning of the year, it's like, hey, yeah, you're the coach. You're going to make $11 million this year, whether you win 1 game, whether you win 10 games. But I told you my theory is, like, I'm a Notre Dame fan. I'd never expect them to win a national title. I've seen them get close and get blown out. If my coach wins me 10 games a year, I'm elated. I'm elated. A 10-win season for a Notre Dame fan, I'm like, hell yeah. Now we're talking. Beat SC and win 10 games.
It's tough to win it all.
Bro, it's almost impossible to win a national championship.
I mean, Jim Harbaugh went through the opposite of Michigan. He was winning 11 games, but he lost to Ohio State.
Yeah.
And now he's finally turned that around, obviously.
Like college basketball. Mark Few's been the head coach of Gonzaga for like 20 years. They win 30 games every single year.
That's right.
They're always a 1 or a 2 seed. What do they got? One championship?
One chip, I think. So
none.
Yeah, none. They have none.
They've gotten there, but
Gonzaga's never won it.
I don't think they've
They
won
won
it.
one.
Did they win one? Oh, look it up. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back
Talk
if
some
you want to
Aztecs
join us.
next, Benji.
They had their first exhibition game last night. We can go through how it looked for San Diego State at Viejas Arena and more. It's Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Now, if memory serves, we did not catch Dabo Sweeney's ire when we had him on our program 5 years ago.
5 years
Coming
ago.
off like a couple of national championships as well. Paulie booking the big-time guests back in the day. I think
what happened?
I think the toughest question I asked him...
Back in the day.
What
the hell happened, Paulie?
I think Katie Woo's a great guest.
I think she's a fantastic guest.
Oh, well.
She doesn't have the name recognition.
Not yet.
Of Dabo. I think the toughest question I asked him was, how do you pronounce your own name?
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
For you.
It's Dabo, as in apple, Dabo. And, I get all kind of pronunciations of that, and it's Sweeney, as in just like E-E. So I have no idea, other than when you grow up in Alabama, that stuff like that happens.
That's his real name? Dabo?
Dabo?
It's Dabo, as in apple.
Dabo.
Dabo.
South is an interesting place. It really is.
Dabo.
I did not ask him to justify his salary, which I don't think was quite as large at the time.
But
fresh off a title, though.
Yeah.
It's when he was getting that big fat raise. Let's talk about Aztecs basketball last night.
Yeah, so San Diego State had their annual exhibition game. By the way, I looked up the notes because I know Paulie likes looking up the Aztecs notes.
The game notes. Do we have some?
I do. I have some game notes.
Better for the basketball team than the football team, I would imagine.
So the Aztecs have now won 30 consecutive exhibition games. They are on a roll. I don't know if you want to play some money on that.
Yeah, I was just going to ask. Next year, somebody let me know.
Red hot. Actually, it was a kind of close game. They were down in the first kind of half of the first half against Cal State San Marcos is a Division II opponent. So, you're expecting to win the game going away, and they missed the first 4 or 5 shots.
They won it
but
going away.
Yeah, they went on a couple of big runs, 26-8 in the second half to start it. Had a 14-1 run as well at some point, and ended up winning by, I think, 31 points, 81-50. Jaden Ledee looked solid. He had 20 points, 11 rebounds, was definitely the player of the game for San Diego State. He's going to be a real key. They're going to need Ledee to be kind of the all-conference player of the year, scoring, rebounding, and then you got Lamont Butler's back with defense and the confidence. I think he only had like 7 points last night. Now they weren't getting maximum minutes.
Sure.
This was I think 10 different guys scored, and they got 12, 13 guys in the game. They won't have rotations like that during the regular season, but got a chance to see some of the new guys like Reese Waters, Jay Powell, the transfers who would come in, got some action for the first time in front of the fans at Villas Arena. It was about half full at Villas Arena last night. Darion Trammell did not play. He's got a shoulder injury. Yeah, they're not sure when he's going to be available. Hoping that he's back for the actual regular season opener, which is next Monday night against Cal State Fullerton, but sounds like that's a little bit up in the air right now, and they'll have some depth issues at guard without Darion Trammell, who had such a great tournament run. Remember, he was the South Region most valuable player on their run to the Final Four last year with how well he played in March. So they'll need him back and having a big season if they're hoping to, maintain that 17th ranking that they got preseason and even go up from there and, get a chance to make another run this March.
Defense looked great, right?
Course.
I mean, it's a very
they shut
Aztecs.
them down, especially in the second half. They're going to play good defense as they always do.
And when is
Monday?
Monday,
Ooh, Cal State Fullerton, 7:30 tip off at Villas Arena. By the way, happy birthday, Brian Dutcher. Celebrated his birthday yesterday. Fans sang happy birthday to him. That's lovely singing voice that Dutch has.
We need more Dutcher.
He's actually eating a piece of cake right now.
He was actually at the dentist. We need more Dutch drops because he kills me.
So, the defending national runner-up coach. Things going well for Brian Dutcher, and they will start on Monday against Cal State Fullerton. A lot of guys coming back. I mean, they should be pretty good this year again. You just see if they can, losing like Matt Bradley and obviously the defense of Nathan Mensah underneath and Keyshawn Johnson transferring to the big NIL money in Arizona.
Ogweka Rope just be chilling on the bench, coaching it up. He was in his coach gear last night. I saw that.
Pretty much can do what he did last season, except for scrambling for the loose balls, but
and come in and block a shot or two or score.
But he'll still kind of provide some of that same energy that he's got and help out on the bench for the team this year.
After that run last year, it's just exciting. It's exciting that that team is supposed to be really, really good. Always fun to watch how they respond. I think I can't say enough good things about Brian Dutcher. Anytime you hear an interview from one of his guys or one of the guys that transferred in, the reasons that they transferred, you're like, what are you doing? How do you do this? Like, how are you creating such a great culture? It's something I fear, the other big team in town could really take a page from.
So they didn't, we didn't talk about this last week, but San Diego State announced an official partnership with their Mesa Foundation as a new NIL collective. And I know this is kind of, inside college sports for a lot of people, and they just want to see winning product on the field. Most fans aren't boosters who are donating thousands of dollars, but in this current climate, if you're not raising NIL money to offer to players, some are going to go elsewhere.
Correct.
Lamont Butler stayed, but Keyshawn Johnson didn't. They reportedly offered him, I don't know,
6 figures?
Yeah, 6 figures, maybe a couple $100,000 to play, and San Diego State unable to match that. And the thought is, if they can't at least get competitive in what they're offering players, they don't have to offer the most, you would think. A lot of people still want to come play for Dutch, play at San Diego State.
For sure.
But when you're being recruited and they go, yeah, we can probably offer you $25,000 a year in NIL money, and the other school says we can offer you $250,000.
Any kid that is legitimately torn between San Diego State and another school, if the money plays a factor into it, absolutely.
So they're going to have to figure out a way to raise more money, and hopefully, and I'm not against NIL, but at some point there's going to be a correction. It's not an investment. I mean, people who are paying, these boosters who are paying this kind of money, they're not seeing a giant return on that investment.
What is the return?
They're getting players and hopefully winning games.
It's a gift, essentially.
But I doubt that if you're donating, let's say you donate $50,000 toward NIL, and they spread that money around, and maybe you own a car dealership, and you get the players maybe to come by for an appearance or two. I doubt you're selling enough cars to really make up that difference. You're giving that money because you want to see your team win.
Yeah.
How often can you keep going to that well? Hey, all right, well, you gave $50,000. We need 100 this year. We need 150 next year. At some point, the boosters are going to say, all right, enough is enough.
Even 50 is a recurring gift. It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. They're going to run out of this NIL, not zero, but they're not going to be able to keep offering guys $500,000, $1 million in NIL money. I just don't see that it's sustainable, and I know that San Diego State feels like, we also feel like, if we can get up a little bit and then the top level comes down a little bit, they can be very competitive in the future when it comes to attracting players with NIL money.
But again, the players a lot of the players that come here to play, they come here for more than money. Obviously, right. That's a known fact.
Culture, coaching staff.
Look at where you play.
Facilities are very good here.
Great. I mean, there's not a lot of downside to coming to play for San Diego State, unless, again, like you don't like playing defense. Then this isn't the place for you, no matter what you want in NIL money. And even if we had
you won't get on the floor if you're not playing defense.
Well, even if we had it, if they had it to give to that player, probably not the right fit. Brian Dutcher would spend that money elsewhere. It's got to be the right fit here. And that makes it, I almost want to say, Ben, a little easier to recruit because you can weed so many guys out.
That's a good point.
You weed those guys out, you're not a fit regardless of how much money we have to offer you. You're not going to put the square peg in a round hole here. I think he's done, and that's, again, a coach that knows what he's doing, has a plan, doesn't deviate from that plan, and says, I'll let Duke go get that guy, or I'll let Kansas pay for that guy, or Arizona pay $200,000 for, they're not going to pay $200,000 for him, So I think that's part of the great job that Brian Dutcher's done.
I mean, I don't know this for a fact, but I can imagine there's probably been some 4, maybe even 5-star guys who have expressed interest in San Diego State, and Dutch and the coaches have gone, getting a one-and-done guy who doesn't play any defense doesn't do anything for our program.
May not do much for us. They already have asses in the seats. They already have national recognition. What else, really? I mean, would you need that for? They want guys that come here. It's the culture he's created. He's done a brilliant job of getting guys to come in and play for each other, the school, the city. It's really
even most of their top recruits sit out a year or play limited for the first year until they're comfortable in the defensive system. They don't see the court, and you're not going to get guys who want to go to the NBA draft in 1 year who aren't going to see the court in their
Correct.
first year as a freshman at San Diego State. So you just eliminate those guys right off the bat.
I mean, it's still, the offer still stands for Lamont Butler. Fresh $100 a month.
150.
150.
Paulie's chipping in.
Yep.
too.
Fresh 150 and some merch and things
that he can wear around town proudly.
Sure.
As our new NIL sponsored athlete.
I mean, that's just from us. That's our collective. That's the Ben and Woods collective. So if you're interested, hit us up. We'll make it happen. I'll make it happen today. Get it done. Just need your sizes and all that, and we'll get it done.
All right, let's check traffic. We'll wrap up our third hour of Ben and Woods here next year on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Got a couple of new crashes here. Westbound King Freeway just before 25th Street. Crash involving a couple vehicles there over to the right shoulder. Also traveling on the northbound 163 Kearney Villa Road off-ramp. An accident involving a couple vehicles there in the center divide. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
My boy just DM'd me and said, boosters get to go to private ceremonies for ring presentation. They get private meals with a player and stuff. It's wild.
They just had a ring ceremony for Aztecs players last Thursday that boosters got invited to. It was a fundraiser. It was an NIL, essentially a fundraiser, private event. It was like $750 a ticket, and they got to see the guys get their Final Four rings in person.
It's cool.
I mean, you can get something for your money, essentially, but you're not making money.
Right. It's not an investment per se.
Yeah, normally, like, when people advertise on our show, we get paid for our endorsements most of the time. But the idea is that the people who are paying us aren't doing it because they're just big fans of the show.
Right.
They're trying
That'd
to
be great if you were.
they're trying to boost their business. And it's a great relationship that we have with places like 7 Mile and SDFatLoss.com and QC Kinetics. But they're not doing it just because they love Ben and Woods and want to hang out with us. They're trying to boost their business. I don't think investing in a college NIL is a great advertisement for your business. You're not boosting your business. You're doing it because you're a fan of the program.
And
you're supporting the program.
But you could also, I'm supporting our local team, right? I mean, you spend $100,000 on season tickets at a baseball game or for the Padres. You're not getting that money back.
No.
But that's why
and if you're getting enjoyment out of it, I'm not telling you how to spend your money, but if you think
that's what a booster is. Those boosters down at OU back in the 80s, the boosters at SMU paying Eric Dickerson, he wasn't like, hey, I'm loaning you $75,000.
So they couldn't even do any ads or anything. It had to all be under the table.
Under the table.
So they just knew, hey, we just want this guy playing for our school. Yep. And the pride of our school maybe winning a championship or, making a bowl game or a deep run in the NCAA tournament is worth it to some boosters, that they're willing to stroke those checks every single year. But it's not an investment. It's simply a fan. It's blind fandom that is getting all this money. And I just suspect that there's not enough blind fandom to keep these numbers going up and up and up constantly. There's got to be a retraction and a limit here that they're going to hit with this NIL money. And then, I think college sports will actually be in a pretty good place once that equilibrium's reached in terms of what players are making. And they should be making something.
Sure.
But I don't know that you should be also, looking for $2 million in the highest bidder of every school and it's some like big free agent derby when you're being recruited.
Yeah, I agree.
I want some middle ground where
you got it. This is very middle ground here. Right?
San Diego State is.
Yeah, very middle
sure.
ground. Like right players, right system, right process, everything else. This is a good middle ground.
Yeah, I almost wish, and maybe this is impossible, but I wish like when players were being recruited, they simply were choosing the school that was right for them, the coaching staff that was right for them, the best situation. And then after that, they can get all the NIL money they want. I don't like the idea of it simply you walk to the coach and goes, how much can you offer?
Right.
How much can you offer?
Do you want that player?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
That's
a good
do you
point
want that
too.
player?
Some coaches do.
Some guys do. We can fix it.
I mean, UConn just won a national championship, basically paying a ton of money to players that Danny Hurley got.
100%.
Clean the clocks to the Aztecs in the final.
That's right.
Good players, though. All right, we got a Rindle Report. Paulie with some headlines coming up. Final hour of a Halloween edition. Ben and Woods here on 97.3 The Fan. Texas Rangers have a 2-1 lead in the World Series.
What's a sleed?
It's a lead.
It's a
2-1 lead.
It's a slim lead.
Slim lead. Series lead.
Series lead.
It's a
in
new
the
word.
series. A sleed.
And I'm here for it. A sleed. I like it. Okay.
I want to get into coming up after the Rondell Report. Mike Hazen is crazy superstitious. I mean, we saw Bob Melvin in his root beer barrels and moving around the dugout. We saw Moneyball and Billy Bean, not watching the end of the games. Mike Hazen is nuts, the general manager of the Diamondbacks, with some of his superstitions that he is he is obsessed with at this point.
I did not know this.
It almost seems debilitating what he has made himself do, like throughout his career now as general manager of the Diamondbacks. So get to that coming up. Hey, if it keeps Adolis Garcia out of the game tonight, keep all the superstitions coming. That's definitely the biggest story for today, I would think, will be the availability.
No update yet on
Have
his
not
health.
seen anything.
God, that would suck to lose a guy like of that caliber in the World Series. I mean, your 3-hole hitter. The guy was as hot as anybody. And if you're the Rangers, you're like, okay, Travis Jankowski is going to play right and hit ninth for us instead. It just changes everything.
I do feel like, with Corey Seager kind of heating up.
Yeah.
I mean,
Simeon getting a knock last night.
If other guys
huge.
are heating up at the right time, that while losing Garcia would be a blow. Could he possibly stay as hot as he's been?
I know.
At some point he's going to cool off a little bit.
You just need 2 more wins, man.
It's
such a bummer.
All you need is the 2 more. The bullpen situation for Texas will also be an issue after Max Scherzer left the game early yesterday. How much do they have? Arizona didn't use Ginkel last night. They got their setup and closer still.
Yeah.
Well,
they're going to need
rested and ready in a bullpen day.
They're going to need all their bullets today, Ben, because they've got an opener on the bump. What an interesting, weird matchup tonight. Andrew Heaney is probably not the ideal guy you want going for you. He had a pretty good season. What's he done in the postseason?
He's been mostly coming out of the pen.
He's got a 6 ERA in the postseason. Mantiply surprisingly was 2-0 in the postseason with a 4.26. Is that right, or is that that's got to be postseason numbers. What a weird World Series game matchup
for sure.
Yeah.
So we'll get to some more of that and Mike Hazen's superstitions coming up. Right now, though, Paulie's got some headlines. Let's get to the Reindl Report
and get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report.
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Okay, how are you?
On 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a oh yeah? Oh yeah.
All right.
All right.
All right.
We have not really even mentioned Monday Night Football last night. Did you guys catch any of the Lions and Raiders?
I watched long enough to watch Jimmy G overthrow Devontae Adams and watched Devontae Adams' subsequent freak out on the sidelines.
I host a Monday Night Football post-game show on ABC.
Yeah, you do.
I do actually watch. Actually, last night was pretty smooth on the show afterwards. The game wasn't great. It was the final score was actually closer than the game felt. The Lions were always in control. Other than Jared Goff throwing a bad pick six, Raiders didn't do much outside of 1 drive the entire game offensively. Detroit settled for some field goals that kept it feeling kind of close, like keeping the Raiders in it. But ultimately, it was a nice bounce-back win for the Lions after their loss to the Ravens. They got clocked last week, but now they're 6-2, and they are the 2nd seed right now in the NFC behind Philadelphia after 3 losses for the 49ers. So if the season ended today, the Lions would have a bye in the playoffs and then a home game. Wow. Do you know the last time the Lions hosted a playoff game? I'll give you a hint. They've never done it at Ford Field. Never once have they hosted a playoff game at their stadium, which opened 25 years ago. 93. Wayne Fonts and the Lions.
Barry Sanders
30
days.
years ago was the last time the Lions hosted a playoff game. So looks like they've got a good chance at ending that streak this year. They go into their bye week at 6-2.
It's fantastic.
And then they take on the Chargers coming out of their bye week the following week to try to start their second half of the season.
So what's going on with Jimmy Garoppolo, Benjamin? Back foot throws, heaving it up. When he did have open receivers, he overshot them. Devontae,
I don't know. He hasn't been healthy, on and off all season.
Yep.
Not sure that the coaching staff has been figured it out there. The fired Josh McDaniels is trending on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
Today.
It's tough. It was a tough watch for him. Yeah. Really like their uniforms. Always have.
Raiders?
Silver and black.
I like the Lions last night. They
I
had
like
the
those
all
as well.
grays with the blue helmet. Looked pretty
I like
good.
that as well.
The simple, clean, everyone
So
knows
cool.
who you are uniforms.
Legit.
I like them. Like, I
Legit.
mean, I like Alabama's uniforms, in
Yeah.
college football.
Yeah.
Like, you know who you're playing.
That's exactly
You don't
right.
have to have the flashy, crazy
I mean,
uniforms.
a guy in the chat just said Jimmy just can't throw deep. He actually overthrew him though. Like
Wide open.
He overthrew
Wide
him
open
twice.
receiver.
So he can throw deep. He doesn't throw it deep accurately at all. I mean, he was wide open. He had 15 yards of separation on his man. It was just unbelievable.
Devontae Adams only had one catch for 11 yards. Dropped a first down that they should have had. But the question is, today is the NFL trade deadline. Feels very early for the season, like compared to baseball.
It really does.
Much, much earlier. I mean, there are very few teams that are truly out of it, but the Raiders seem like they're probably one of them. If there was a taker for Devontae Adams, probably would be good for him. And if the Raiders can get anything for him at this point, would be good for them as well to make that move today for a team that is desperate for a wide receiver.
Just crazy.
I don't know if the Kansas City Chiefs could fit him under the cap, but I would imagine that Patrick Mahomes wouldn't mind having him as a weapon.
Yeah, I think he's got a lot of game left. He's got a lot of game left. Does not want to be stuck there. That's for sure.
Huge story in the NBA overnight. This Woj bomb. I'm reading on ESPN here. Adrian Wojnarowski filed this story. I assume he's on the East Coast. Filed it at 2:04 a.m. Eastern time.
Okay.
That the Clippers have acquired James Harden from the 76ers. Big trade. James Harden hadn't really been around much lately for Philadelphia. He has expressed his desire to be moved, and now he joins the Clippers. Traded overnight, Harden and two other players to Los Angeles for Marcus Morris, Robert Covington, Nick Batum, KJ Martin, and a 2028 first-round pick.
How is that? That's
two second-round picks, another pick
Good
swap.
Lord.
It was a lot.
It's a big trade. Maybe too much for an over-the-hill James Harden, but the Clippers are the Clippers. And if they're ever going to do something, Kawhi looks healthy, George is healthy. I mean, this would be the year where you think they could make a run, and they're going to go in with Harden and hope a big three, star power is going to take them there. I've got resident Clippers fan Jack Higgins with his analysis of the trade. Says, hate to lose Rocco, that would be Robert Covington, and Batum, but losing Mook may be good to stop Ty Lue from letting him play. So that's his analysis of the trade and the pieces that the Clippers gave up. I don't follow the Clippers beyond Kawhi well enough to really analyze the way Jack can, but he watches most of the Clippers games, and he's kind of excited, but he also knows that it's not prime James Harden.
And that's where he wanted to go, though, right?
Seemed like that was his top choice at this point.
That'll be an interesting team to see on the court. Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, and Paul George.
Yeah, big four.
Good team like 6 years ago. Really, really good team 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Wish we had those guys 6 years. We did. 8 years ago. Then.
But it reminds you of that Lakers team that was supposed to be on Karl Malone and
God, weird days. Those were weird.
But they were all
Who was
old.
there? It was Gary Payton,
Karl Malone,
Shaq
and Kobe.
Derek Fisher.
Was Nick Van Exel there at that time?
I think he was gone by then.
That was weird. Seeing Karl Malone was just weird.
In terms of like name
Rick Fox,
power,
Robert Horry still might have been on that squad.
Rick Fox with those beautiful eyes.
Gosh.
He'll get you.
All right, finally, it is Halloween. We talked earlier in the show about our favorite candies. I asked you guys, how do you handle distribution of your candy to the kids when they come home with a bucket or a bag full of candy? And a dentist actually says, this is surprising, it's better for your teeth to sit down and eat the entire bag of Halloween candy at once.
I buy that.
Than to
Space
spread it
it
out
out.
over a month, 2 months, whatever.
It's probably worse for your overall health, but for your teeth.
She said, made it very clear. You're probably going to have an upset stomach. You won't be super happy, but it is better for your teeth.
I mean, it's not the amount of sugar on your teeth. It's how long it's on your teeth.
Sure.
Because it's creating those acids that are eating away at your enamel, and that's what's making the cavity. So if you just eat it all in one night and then brush your teeth, you're pretty good going forward. Now, if you're constantly eating candy in the middle of the day and you don't get to a toothbrush, that's where the dental decay is going to come from.
Yeah, and for your kids, like these teeth are falling out anyway. So have a ball. That's what I look at.
You can still is very expensive at the dentist before that point.
It's going to be expensive anyway.
Dentist says the worst kinds of candy for your teeth are the sticky, taffy,
chewy,
sugar babies.
Sugar babies.
Remember those?
Delicious, yeah.
Yeah.
Chocolate is not great for your teeth, but it's a lot easier to clean when brushing your teeth.
So somebody taught me to take, when you go to the movie, get a box of Milk Duds and a thing of popcorn and just pour the Milk Duds in.
Softens up
we
the
did
Milk
that
Duds
with
a little.
M&M's.
God bless, is it good. Good, but messy. They melt. The Milk Duds seemingly don't
They're not
melt
M&Ms.
in there. Yeah.
They do melt in your hand.
Yeah, M&Ms do.
M&Ms don't. They melt in your mouth, not in your hand.
No, but you put it in
Milk
hot
Duds,
popcorn.
It will start melting.
It was never a problem.
Really?
That candy coating is pretty...
Depends on what they had.
Pretty
I like peanut
indestructible
M&Ms.
outside
Peanut.
of the M&M.
Peanut
butter M&Ms.
Yeah,
delicious.
Those are good.
Almond M&Ms. Delicious
the
too.
crunchy
You don't
one.
like almonds though.
No, I don't think so.
Phenomenal. All right. Thank you, Paulie.
You're welcome.
Excited about trick-or-treating tonight. Very excited. My kids' costumes are out. They're perfect. They look amazing.
They do. I've seen the pictures.
So good.
Joe Burrow,
Yep.
Ziggy Stardust.
That's right. It's so good. Legendary.
Quite the combo.
Very, very.
If you're just joining us on our YouTube stream, Woodsy is Tiger Woods, dressed as a tiger. Paul is the cocaine bear.
It's perfect.
Just got white powder all over his bear costume. And I'm Matt McAfee.
Yeah, Matt McAfee.
A.K.A. Pat McAfee. Anthony points out I should be standing.
You really should be.
Like Pat McAfee
and leaning.
does the entire
Lean.
lean.
I should have done AJ Hawk, and I would have just sat here in silence all day and just looked.
Am I?
Yeah. That's it. That's it.
Kind of, bouncing a little bit.
Now you got to yell.
He has way more energy.
Yeah,
than
we got a lot of energy here today.
Oh,
we got
God.
Aaron
No.
Rodgers here on a Tuesday is going to be joining us. I just got to stroke him another $1 million check to get him on the show. We're on ESPN. We're simulcasting live here today on the Pat McAfee Show.
Drop an
F-bomb, and we will go to break, Benjamin.
We actually are going to go to break. We're going to go to traffic here on 97.3 The Fan, and we'll be right back. Well, I know A.J. Preller needs to turn things around for the San Diego Padres here. Been facing some of his toughest criticism in his entire nearly decade-long tenure now as general manager. Maybe he needs to take a page out of the book of Mike Hazen, general manager of the Diamondbacks. By the way, Paulie played that Chris Stapleton sounder during the break. Hope you were listening. I believe Corey was and called in, and won the tickets. Congratulations to Corey. You are going to go to Chris Stapleton next March 2nd. Tickets go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com. Coming to Petco Park, one of the hottest acts.
What's he? You said you always say he has doo-doo voice.
Doo-doo voice. He's on the toilet.
It's not him. That's him on the toilet right there.
Fire away.
So,
Fire away. Take your best shot. Show me what you got.
Him talking to himself.
But you know, I know that I'll always come back for more.
Of course you will. The big Southern breakfast. Of course you're going to be back.
Biscuits and gravy.
Biscuits and gravy, chicken fried steak. Yeah, you'll be back, ready to fire away. He's got a great voice. There's no doubt about it. It's the bit of that Springsteen-y, though, like, every time I hear it. I listened to Born to Run on the drive into work this morning. I was like, what is your deal? Sounds like Boomer Esiason.
Drums
like us.
I heard Hungry Heart the other day.
Snarly, isn't it?
It wasn't as bad as you make it.
Are
out
you
to say.
sure?
Yes. He sounded young.
Everybody's got
He sounded a little younger than
heart.
that. That's 80-year-old Springsteen doing
They're
Hungry
doing
Heart.
a Vegas residency at the Sphere soon.
Won't be too long. It'll be Christmas music season.
Yes.
Santa Claus
is coming to town. Santa Claus is coming to town. Just everyone sounds like they're pooping. It's all right. Everybody does it.
All right, so maybe A.J. Preller needs to just be more superstitious.
Sure. I
haven't heard A.J. talk really much about superstitions at all in his job. But Mike Hazen, the general manager of the Arizona Diamondbacks, revealed, quite a few superstitions.
Okay.
Now, like famously Billy Beane, he has never permitted himself to watch the end of games.
Never.
No, this is from
Never
Sports
seen the end of a
Illustrated.
game.
He catches the first 8 or even 8.5 innings in his suite with his assistants, and then he flees down into the bowels of the stadium for the last 3 outs. But not just that. He goes into a dark room where he can't and puts on noise canceling headphones, so he can't hear the crowd react or anything. So he has no idea what's going on, and he waits for his mother-in-law to text him. Who texts, as soon as they win, she texts and goes, they won. If he never gets the text, he eventually emerges and just finds the disappointed locker room like, well, what happened? How did we lose the game?
Why don't you watch, you dillhole, and then you'll be able to find out. You're the general manager.
So,
oh my God.
Crazy thing is, he actually did watch the end. He did watch the end of Game 2. He let himself watch. They were up
because they were up so big,
and they did win. But now he wasn't sure what he was going to do for Game 3. I'm not sure if he watched the end or not.
There's no way
but
he watched the end of that game.
That's just the beginning. He's very serious about his superstition. So if the opponent scores, he will change chairs in the suite where he's sitting.
Okay, I like that.
He will wear the same clothes every day during a win streak. He'll change his sport jacket and pants and socks after losses, though. He won't say exactly what he cleans and doesn't clean. He says, I wash my clothes. I just don't wash all my clothes.
Weirdo.
He only, at least since August, on the way to the ballpark, he will only listen to Morgan Wallen's new album, One Thing at a Time. It's the only thing he's allowed to listen to on game days. He can listen to what he wants on off days, but on game days, it's only Morgan Wallen, and that's the only thing that he can listen to.
Actively rooting for the Rangers now at this point. Actively. It's active. It's active rooting interest.
Yeah, he tells people in his life never text him during games. Because he doesn't accidentally want to find out apparently something is going on. I mean, it's very weird. I mean, how he's very superstitious apparently. I don't know if that's I don't know if that's what I want in my general manager.
Yeah, I'm kind of in agreement with you. The Morgan Wallen thing is a huge red flag, number one. But
they probably listened to it just one day and they won. And they got stuck listening to it forever.
I remember stopping one day on the way to a game, running late and starved. I was hungover, and I pulled into Mickey D's, and I got 2 cheeseburgers and a Coke. And I went out, I got 4 hits. And I was like, that's what I'm doing. And every Saturday or Sunday, I'd stop by Mickey D's for 2 cheeseburgers and a Coke. And it worked for 6 weeks. I was getting knocks and playing well. And then when it ends, you're like, well, I'm not going to do that again. So you got to switch it up. People are insane.
So
remember Wade Boggs? Fried chicken.
Chicken.
Like a whole fried chicken he would eat. Greasy-ass KFC, licking his fingers and going out and getting 3-4 knocks. Guy batted .340 every year, so whatever you got to do.
So last week in Game 7 of the NLCS, so, Diamondbacks and Phillies in Philadelphia, Torey Lovullo, it was a few outs left. I don't know, it was the 8th or the 9th inning. He had to run to the bathroom. So he went to the bathroom just behind the visitors' dugout at Citizens Bank Park. He opens the door, and Hazen is sitting in the complete dark in the shower stall on the shower seat with the headphones on, staring at what he says looked like a blank computer screen at the time.
It's absolutely horrifying.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Lovullo says, Hazen says that he was reading something. He won't say what it was, but he said it looked like a blank screen.
All work and no play makes Mike a dull boy. All work and no play makes Mike a dull boy. Holy crap.
I mean, he looked they showed shots of him at the game, cheering from the suite during the game. He looked exceedingly normal during those shots. He's not a normal guy. He's got a problem when it comes to his superstitions.
I thought the root beer barrels were a lot.
I thought that was a lot too.
That's nothing.
No.
Bob, apparently, the new San Francisco Giants manager, if you guys haven't heard, he had for a while, he calmed some of his down, but there were parking spots and he had to only go in a certain way. There was all sorts of weird stuff. It really can be crippling, I think, at times. But it's all about what gets you in the best headspace.
Maybe
right?
It's freeing in some way as well.
Could be. It gets you in the, you feel like I have just put myself in the best position to win, whether it's my magic socks or the way I tape my wrist or the way I approach my business. I was always really, really superstitious when I played sports.
When ultimately, if you're the GM or the manager, that the big decisions are on you. And wins or losses, you're always going to feel like if I had just done this differently, maybe we would have won instead of lost. That's a lot of pressure to deal with. And maybe it's a little healthy to sometimes think, but I can't control everything, so I'm just going to let fate, creep into play here. And if we have a bad day for some reason, well, it was probably superstition. I did something wrong on my superstitions. It wasn't that I'm an idiot. It's not that I called for a bunt when I shouldn't have called for a bunt. Let's just leave it at something else that was out of my control.
It's wild to me, though, for the general manager to not watch the outcome of the game. That one to me, I understand your socks. I understand unlocking the door 3 or 4 times. I understand having the same meal, but to
wait for your mother-in-law to text you. Hey, you just won the National League Championship Series, Mike. Congratulations. Just waiting for that phone to buzz.
It's funny. I've been noticing a lot about the 2 managers in the dugout. Bruce Bochy, he's so calm, it looks like he almost doesn't care. I mean, it is the most ratcheted up tension. Chapman's in the game. You never know what you're going to get. And here's Boch. Looking like he's sitting at a bingo parlor in Sedona, high as a kite. Couldn't care less. Bro, I'm a T-ball, and I'm watching my kids in the field. I'm pacing up and down, and I thought to myself, hey, that's crap energy by you. You're going to make them nervous. So even I, at T-ball, have tried to be like, just be a little more calm. Don't be out there yelling at him after. Just let him play.
Is Boch's slow movements and
it's all
is that
of
part
that.
of the strategy?
I wonder. I know the knees are probably shot, but still, there's just no. If any one of us were a big league manager, and I know you, Ben, I know you, Paulie, well enough. You guys know me well enough. I would just be shredding my nails, just sitting there, just. It would be so
a lot
the
of
tension.
pacing for me.
Yeah, a lot of pacing. You know, the only manager that I can recall, I mean, there's been managers in history, but Padres manager, bro, I've never seen a more nervous human being than Jace Tingler at a game in my whole life. I watched him pregame. If you had given him a barf bag, he would have used it. I watched it. We sat right down to that one time. I looked over and he was like, he looked
Tuesday night.
It was a Tuesday night game against the Cubs, dude. It didn't even matter, and he was just like, it's just got to be overwhelming at times for these guys, and that's why again Bo's got how many games under his belt? 1,000,000,
2,000.
So he's
something,
like, whatever. They call my number yet? Like, my food ready? Like, he looks like he can be anywhere. It'd be funny for somebody to take Calm Bochy and just place him in different calm situations. I mean, he looks like he's sitting on a beach. Truly couldn't be bothered.
Fishing on a boat.
No hand over his mouth. No, he's just watching, like you said, watching a movie. I mean, it's just incredible to see. So I've taken a lot from that. I think a lot of us could live a little bit more like Boch.
All right, final segment of Ben and Woods coming up here on a Tuesday. Maybe a little Tier 1 topic wheel if you want to call
fire
in.
Fire it away.
833-288-0973. A reminder, you can tune in to Kickoff with Boomer and Valenti every Friday night at 6 p.m. here on 97.3 The Fan, previewing the entire slate of NFL games each week. It is presented nationally by Casamigos Tequila. Casamigos brought to you by those who drink it, and by Lowe's. Lowe's knows home improvement. Give us a call. Join us on the topic wheel, 833-288-0973. We will wrap it up on The Fan here next with Ben and Woods. You mentioned it earlier. They reported yesterday, Woods, that Game 1 of the World Series was the least watched World Series Game 1 ever.
Yeah.
It's also one of the best World Series games of my life.
Imagine missing that one, man.
You just don't know. We talked about this last week when people said, ratings are going to be terrible for this World Series matchup, Diamondbacks and Rangers. No one cares about these teams. You just don't know what's going to produce a great game.
I just find it so funny to me that you're telling me if it's Yankees, Dodgers, or if it's Red Sox,
Giants, I don't know.
That people are like, like people in Kansas and Kentucky are like,
those teams play just as many bad games and
no question
mismatches as anyone. You never know when you're going to get an all-time great game. It's the World Series, people.
It just doesn't resonate with me. You know, I understand that more New Yorkers are going to watch and more Angelinos are going. Those are the two biggest cities. I understand that. The concept of, well, obviously with the two biggest markets, you're going to have more eyes on it. I do understand that. But if you're a baseball fan and you don't watch the World Series because of the matchup, I don't think you're a baseball fan. I don't think you can call yourself a baseball fan.
Maybe it's non-baseball fans who aren't watching.
But do non-baseball fans watch Yankees, Dodgers, or Red Sox?
Maybe they do.
Do they? For what?
I don't know why they would make. What would make the difference? If you don't follow baseball, then what does it matter who the teams are?
Exactly. Like, and I if you do follow baseball but you don't watch the World Series, I don't think you like baseball.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of like the star power. There's not a. If you're a casual, super casual baseball fan, is there a lot of star power in this World Series?
So I'm a beyond casual NBA fan. They have massive star power. I still don't watch the finals. Why? Because I don't like the game that much. So that's why I don't watch. But I'm not a basketball fan.
I mean, would you be tempted?
Right, we're talking about fans that might watch other World Series matchups.
Like if it's Giannis against...
But if you're a baseball fan, no, Ben, it could be Giannis against the ghost of Michael Jordan, and I'm probably still not watching. If it's on,
nothing would convince you to watch something that you didn't want to watch, even if it's...
But if you're a baseball fan in New York, if you're a baseball fan in L.A., if you're a baseball fan in Fargo, North Dakota... If you're a baseball fan,
if the Phillies are in, are you more likely to watch because Bryce Harper's in it?
So there is the phenomenon.
I mean, maybe, but
in the markets where the teams play, like when the Padres were in the NLCS, the top two markets for the NLCS were Philadelphia and San Diego.
For sure,
you just have people are excited in the community. They want to be able to talk about it, so they watch the games. Maybe it's simply when it's LA and New York, just that phenomenon of people in LA and New York just wanting to be a part of watching just jacks it up by an extra million or two people because there's so many people in LA and New York.
For sure.
It does the same thing. I'm sure there's more people in Arizona watching this series and there's more people in Dallas watching than usual. But it doesn't offset just the normal levels of watching everywhere else because their teams aren't involved and you're not getting that bump up.
So Jeffrey says Adolis Garcia isn't star power. I promise you, man, if you walked around in June of this year into any market other than Arlington, honestly, and maybe St. Louis, and if you ask 10 people, who is Adolis Garcia? What sport does he play? They may guess baseball. I bet you they wouldn't tell you he was for the Rangers. That's the problem in baseball. And it goes deeper than that. When you have some of the former stars of baseball that are calling games now, crapping on celebrations, crapping on fun, crapping on guys actually wanting to be superstars in the game, therein lies part of the problem, and so I think it's baseball's job to make these guys superstars. That's it.
The casual baseball fans in Milwaukee can tell you who Ronald Acuna Jr. is.
For sure.
Fernando Tatis
Jr. Yeah.
Shohei, Harper.
Mike Trout, Bryce Harper. Yeah. There needs to be more than a face of the game. There needs to be 25 to 30 faces of the game. It needs to be bigger. Major League Baseball does not do a good job. In fact, when you hire people that actively crap on the product that you put on the field, that's a problem. It's a marketing problem. It's not a problem for me because I know better. But when you're trying to grow the game, I mean, there's something. My kid who's 5, who loves the game, will watch any teams play. He happens to love Bryce Harper. He happens to love Garcia, right? Because he's watching, he's engaged. But
it just they just do a really poor job.
You create more superstars when you have matchups like this.
Of course you do.
Garcia now is with what he's done in the postseason.
Correct.
When he comes back next year,
it's
he's
like
going to
Rosarena.
He's going to be Adolis Garcia. My God, yeah, like a Rosarena did. And I think some Diamondbacks were going to get much more name recognition going forward.
Corbin Carroll, 100%.
For sure. That this is how you create superstars. You have them in the World Series, and then you have a great, entertaining matchup. And so far, I think it's been a really good World Series. Game 2 was a wipeout, but Game 1 was fantastic.
Last night was great.
Last night was good, tense, low scoring, but a good, tense, interesting game. And I'm expecting more of the same tonight. Yeah, you don't have any star power on the pitching mound because of bullpen days and what have you, but that should mean, maybe more offense and more runs scored.
If tonight's going to be your selling point, maybe don't watch. Right? You don't need to promote tonight's game. When we get back to the number one starters, then we can talk. But
because there's not a whole lot else on TV tonight.
It wouldn't have mattered for me at all. Maybe this is the night. This is the night the casual turns in and goes, "Why is this guy only pitching 2 innings? Why is this guy only throwing 2 innings, 3 innings?" But no, I think if you're a baseball fan, you watch the World Series, and I'm surprised. That would mean to me, Ben, that there's only 9 million baseball fans in the country because only 9 million people watched Game 1. That's what that says to me. I don't believe that, not for a second.
Well, last night was mischief night, so maybe
it's true. What the night before, though?
Out. I don't know.
Game 1. When Game
was
1, Friday night. Yeah, so I don't know.
You got Halloween tonight.
Halloween tonight.
No one's watching. Yeah,
I've had something on every night of these worlds. I've had to DVR it last night. I had a happy hour I had to go to.
What do you got tomorrow?
Nothing tomorrow.
Right, tomorrow's the night.
No, my parents come to town. No. But that's fine. I'm dropping them off at 4, and then I'm going to go watch the World Series. Is it? There's a game tomorrow night?
There is. Game 5 is tomorrow.
What am I going to do tonight? Listen to it on my phone, I guess.
Earbud.
That's good parenting. Yeah. I have to sift through the candy for razor blades and drugs, as you know. So that's what I'll be doing.
When candy, also.
Yeah, and candy. That's exactly right. I get first licks.
All right, let's check traffic one more time, and then we'll go out to the phones for a little Tier 1 topic wheel next year on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Not too bad of a wrap-up for our Halloween morning commute. Got stalled vehicle on southbound side of the 805 right at the eastbound King Freeway connector ramp. Also traveling on the westbound 52 right before the 805, there is a collision involving a couple vehicles there over the right shoulder in the North County, dealing with a crash on westbound 56 near Carmel Country Road. Clearing that out of the fast lane. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Jeffrey says in the chat, free drugs and razor blades tonight. Do you know how expensive good razor blades are right now?
Like
how
expensive
shaving?
Good drugs are right now.
Well, there you go. I mean, don't waste that stuff on the kids giving them candy.
Unless they look like these kids. My God.
They deserve everything. All the drugs.
Oh, there's my little guy.
Candy.
Please don't give my kids any drugs. For the love of God. Bo dressed up as Joe Burrow. Looks perfect. Taylor was, he finally let the missus paint the Ziggy Stardust.
He looks incredible.
He looks incredible. Total G. One of the moms, I guess, at school went by and said, "Oh, he makes a cute little Joker."
What?
Joker? What are you talking about?
That's not what the Joker looks like, and the Joker doesn't have a guitar.
Right. What in the world?
I missed that movie.
What kind of parenting is...
Maybe that's the sequel coming up.
What kind of parenting is going on out there that mom doesn't know who Ziggy Stardust David Bowie is? It's a problem, man.
All right, let's go out to the phones. I don't know if he was calling in for the topic wheel, but I see Corona Cave Jeff is on the line. Jeff,
long time, buddy.
How are you?
Good morning, gentlemen. I'm doing great, and it sounds like you guys are. I've been working a lot lately, Ben, and I haven't watched much TV, but I saw you the other day.
Svelte, very svelte.
Buzzword. Svelte.
Sleeveless now, too.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, you're looking great, so congratulations on that.
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it.
My topic wheel is I liked the little dialogue on the Clippers and then the Lakers of way back when. But I think Woods' comment about the Clippers would be good with that team 6 years ago. I got a good laugh out of that.
That is not how the topic wheel works.
That's
Jeff.
not how the topic wheel works.
Hang on.
That's okay.
You'll get to participate right now.
Yeah, you just hold tight.
We spin the topic wheel, and we tell you.
Now, there's another idea. They
is.
call us with what they want to talk about.
That's pretty much that's talk radio.
It's AMA.
All right, what's the craziest thing you've ever done?
Craziest thing you've ever done? I'm going to go last here because, boy, it's crazy. Jeff, what's the craziest thing you've ever done?
Guys, I'm on radio. I hope you know that.
I know. It's very loaded.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm going to play it safe here. As a kid, I think Woods can get down with this. I grew up in the Texas Panhandle, just inside the New Mexico border. Oof. And one of the big fun things we used to do on Halloween was we would go on the overpass and throw eggs at passing trains.
Trains. Okay, that feels safer than cars. It does. It feels safer than throwing it at cars.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to drive off the road.
The conductor's going to be like, ah! He's not going to freak out if an egg hits the top of a car, right? Like the top of a rail car. It's not going to change. It's not going to mess. Somebody's got to clean it up later, but that's it.
All I can think now is Walter White's The Train Heist episode of Breaking Bad.
One of the best.
Badlands of New Mexico there and stealing the methanol or whatever it was.
What about you, Paulie?
I was dared that I couldn't drink a gallon of milk in an hour. It's physically impossible.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, right. Come
That's
on,
the craziest thing you've ever done?
It's pretty crazy. I mean, I threw snowballs at cop cars.
These are delinquent things.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to do that.
Yeah, that's true. What's yours, man?
Like truly crazy? I don't think I've ever done anything
Never.
Truly like crazy. I mean, some people would say playing 54 holes of golf in
nobody would say
2 days.
No one in
crazy.
the world would say that. Not one human being alive would go, holy crap,
like a lot of golf.
You did that? 54 holes?
But I'm not I see something crazy, I run the other way.
You are just out of control, Ben Higgins.
Yeah. Dominic said he pretended to be a police officer at a convention in Vegas and partied with FBI agents in a limo and at a strip club.
That's pretty crazy.
That is crazy.
Because they could find out and they'd be unhappy about that.
Wow.
I don't think they'd take kindly to you impersonating one of their own. It's a crime, isn't it?
It is.
Is it? I mean, it's a crime if you can't
in that sense. I don't
arrest
think so.
people. I don't know in that sense if it's a crime if you just mislead people into thinking you are, so you can party with them. What did you give an answer, Woods?
I didn't.
You didn't.
He's been.
What's the second craziest thing you've ever done? Then
ketamine. That's it. That's as far as I'll go.
What's the craziest radio friendly?
You did some radio bits. What's the craziest radio bit you did?
God, dude, I used to dress up, and they would send me to like CVS with an earplug in, and they would be feeding me lines, and they would put a long wig on me and one like long Coke nail, and the direction was when you say it, you have to move your hair out of your face in front of the guy at CVS. Yeah, with the nail. And they would be feeding me stuff to say, and I would have to say it. And the thought of it gives me the cold sweats. We'll try it for you sometimes. It's like mortifying.
Well, honestly, now the craziest thing I've ever done is let some lunatic feed me unknown foods through a GIMP mask.
Just wait till this radio show. Wait till this Christmas show. You thought that was bad.
Let's see. Oh, we got a friend, Adio, in Philly. Adio, welcome to the Tier 1 Topic Wheel. How are you?
I'm doing well. Like, Ben, why are we lying to the people? You know the craziest thing that you've ever done is drink wine that costs less than $300.
That's right. You never, but not too much of it, though.
No.
That's the deal. Not too much.
A little bit. All right, let's spin it. Let's spin it for Adio.
Have a favorite dinosaur?
Ooh.
Interesting. So you could just go with the obvious and just say Tyrannosaurus Rex or Velociraptor, something like that. But I'm going to say the Triceratops based squarely on the fact that I was a huge Mighty Morphin Power Rangers fan growing up in my teenage years. So, yeah, Blue Ranger, Triceratops, that's what I'm going with.
I like that. It's a good answer.
No one had even heard of a Velociraptor before.
Yeah,
Jurassic Park. It's like they totally invented a new dinosaur for that movie that would be scarier than a T-Rex, and I respect that. But they didn't invent that. I'm sure it is probably scientifically somewhat valid, as much as a movie is going to make it. But no one had ever heard of a Velociraptor, right, before that movie?
Not that I had ever heard of.
I hadn't. My favorite dinosaur is a pterodactyl. They fly. That's cool. Flying dinosaurs.
I don't really have one, but I like the Diplodocus.
Stegosaurus is cool. They've got the
Diplodocus is what I meant.
They've got those spikes on their back.
Yeah, those are cool. Triceratops is a good one. I don't know.
And they got the spikes on the tail, too.
They do.
I might change my answer to Stegosaurus.
I don't think anybody cares, to be honest.
I didn't choose the wheel. The
This is
wheel
a weird
chose
question.
the topic.
It's a weird question.
The wheel chose the topic.
Let's get one more in for the three of us here. What is your absolute number one favorite go-to classic dessert? You get one dessert.
Creme brulee.
Oh, you stole my answer.
I did.
Actually, you know what? If I only could have one dessert for the rest of my life, it's either a brownie or chocolate chip cookie.
Oh, brownies are so good.
Brownies are really good.
Creme brulee is mine. I love it. I love it warm, cold, all of it.
Dutch apple crisp.
Dutch
a
oven.
Scoop of vanilla bean.
Yeah, it's a good one.
So good.
I realized I did not bring a change
Workout
of clothes, and I was going to go to the gym. So that means I have to go to the gym in this shirt. I can take the whiskers off and the ears and the
Your
tail.
whiskers are already kind of melting a little bit.
I've been touching them, and
Yeah.
I have black stuff all over my fingers now. But it means I have to. I guess I could go home and change, but if I go home, I'm not leaving.
The irony is, I'm already dressed as Pat McAfee, ready to work out right now.
Maybe
as he is every single day on the air.
Maybe I borrow your shirt, but then I have to wear a sleeveless shirt. What's worse, sleeveless shirt to the gym when you look like me,
or tiger,
or
costume.
this tiger thing?
Now, Ben, have you been sweating at all? It's warm in here.
No, I'm pretty calm. I think it's pretty clean still.
I don't know what to do.
No, I think I've put deodorant on. You could wear this if you wanted. But wear the chain, too.
But then I'm in a sleeveless shirt at the gym.
That's the only place where it really is acceptable.
Not for me, though.
You freeze up your arms for some good curls.
But I'm doing legs.
You've got pretty good arms.
Getting better. But I'm
They're
doing
not bad.
I'm doing legs.
I mean,
today.
mine aren't great, and I still feel like I look all right. I mean, no, never mind.
Yeah, no, I think you look great. See you guys tomorrow. Happy
And with
Halloween,
that,
everybody.
We bid you adieu. Have a safe
adieu.
And adieu. Safe Halloween night with the family. Watch World Series Game 4, and we will rejoin you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Coach Braden coming up next for executive producer and imaging director Paul Reindl and Stephen Woods. I'm Ben Higgins. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday from all of us here at 97.3 The Fan. So long.